replace? If you're facing roofing issues, you gotta get RoofWorks into the game. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. You can count on us to be your MVP when it comes to taking care of your commercial building roof. We handle leaky roof repair, coatings, total replacements, upfits, and we even do commercial gutters. Let us show you what a valuable addition we are to your building maintenance team. Contact us today online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Longer days mean longer rides. Make sure your bike, your ATV, your side-by-side, even your golf cart are the best around. From sound station and security, we've got custom stereo systems, custom speakers, even video and LED lighting options for your bike, your ATV, and even your golf cart. Look the coolest on the road or at the lake, just tooling around. All available with installation from sound station and security, with 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
Kids across America are going to school hungry every day. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Highs in the mid-90s, but feeling more like 104 to 105 this afternoon. So be very careful. The hottest temperatures so far this year are with us well into next week. 77 overnight tonight, and tomorrow's hot too with a high of 95. But we do have a good chance for storms tomorrow, late afternoon and evening. A cold front will roll through. So tomorrow's a WRAL weather alert day with a chance of some severe thunderstorms.
Weather report brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 44 points to 42,171.
Bryce in the pocket, steps up, eludes the rush, throws, end zone, caught, Adam Thielen, touchdown!
He'll toss it that way to Hampton, and he is in. Touchdown, Carolina.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown, Bailey, his 3rd of the night.
Cooper faces up with 5 and 4, drives Davis, spins, waiting, fades away, and hits! Game over! Series over! Sebastian!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Wednesday. Hope everyone's having a fantastic hump day. I'm Tim Donnelly. Max producing the show again. Dennis still out with a little under the weather, I guess is how we'll describe it. But Max stepped in yesterday, and he'll be doing so again today. And as we started new this week, for those of you that haven't been tuned in at the beginning of the show, Monday and Tuesday, we start a little bit different. We start the show with Big 3 at 3. I don't know if I'm going to get used to the dramatics.
It just makes it feel so much more important what we're doing here.
We need the frozen tundra of Lambeau. Like it's like I need a deeper, more majestic voice. Big 3 at 3. We're starting with number 1. It's not that we all don't know what number 1 is, so you don't have to like it. Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup. What excellent ending of the music there. Ugh. I'm struggling with this one. I'm struggling with the Florida Panthers winning the Stanley Cup for a bunch of different reasons. Because, like, tangibly, there are some good things here. Tangibly, right, everybody involved in the Panthers that's going to be a free agent is going to be more expensive, right? Which inherently, like, Brad Marchand is going to go make probably more money than he's worth just because of the magic, the championship glow he brought to the Florida Panthers. Sam Bennett, I believe Florida's going to overspend on him. Ekblad, probably same thing. So that's good. It proves that the Kane system can win and can be a part of a maybe dynasty, right? Making it a whole bunch of years in a row, winning back-to-back cups, and they do a lot of the same things they try to do, a lot of the same things schematically that the Canes do, which does give you a little bit of a mic drop in some really annoying conversations. It's the equivalent of like Jalen Hurts winning the Super Bowl. So now every time somebody wants to yell at the Ravens that they can't win a Super Bowl with a running quarterback, it's like, what do you mean? That guy has 1 billion touchdowns rushing, right? It lets you fire back. So the Canes now get to say, like, oh, the two final teams in the Eastern Conference ran similar schemes, and the eventual Stanley Cup champion ran a similar scheme. So what are you going to say to us? So that's the good. The bad is, goodness gracious, do I not like the Florida Panthers. Paul Maurice went in the handshake line.
He kind of got peer pressured, it seemed like.
So you were just trying to bully Rod Brindamore? Like, because Rod has class and isn't going to fight back against you? Like, what? Annoying as heck. Matthew Tkachuk played with what? Like, every tendon ripped off his hip. He had a hernia.
Yeah, adductor injury.
Just gross injuries, and he toughed it out and played through it. I should love that, right? I'm a former athlete. Playing through an injury is one of the coolest things you can do in my book. But then he does all the Tkachuk things, and I'm like, you know what? No, you're still annoying. I'm sure I would be talking differently if he were on my team, but no, you're still annoying.
It was quite a laundry list of injuries, too. Barkov, I don't know if you saw the picture. It's like palm was slashed open, stitched together. Reinhart had a grade 2 MCL injury, like...
There's so much that I should like, but for whatever reason, it's the Panthers, and I'm just like, nah, I'm glad your palm hurts.
Not to, no pun intended, but we kind of have some scar tissue here from the last couple of Eastern Conference Finals. I think we can appreciate how good they've been, but it's just, it feels annoying for Canes fans and for
I think if somebody asks you for your honest opinion on the Florida Panthers, you have to say everything that Max just alluded to, right? They are very good. They are very tough. They play a very demanding system, and they do it well. And then you can add on, but I don't like any of it. Right? There's two different things here, right? I talk often about dividing, like my heart says one thing and my head says another. My heart doesn't like it, but my brain is saying, they're pretty good. And now they're who everybody is chasing, by the way. That's number one. Let's hit number two on the big three at 3. It is 1 week until the NBA draft. The off seasons are going to come at us hot and heavy. 1 week to the NBA draft, 2 days to buyout season in the NHL. Free agency in the NHL is less than 2 weeks away. These kind of pillars of the offseason are just going to start ripping through. 1 week to the NBA draft, and the irony of it is everybody's going to talk about the guys at the top of the draft. I think the more fascinating part, this next week is more interesting for not those guys, right? Like, we can sit here and debate Cooper Flagg to Dallas. How's the fit? Will Con Knipple go to Charlotte, or will he fall all the way to 8th? Come on, Malawash. Will he be available at 8th for the Nets? Like, those things, they're fun to talk about, but in the scheme of things, right? In the scheme of things, does it change much? Nah. Where they're going to live, right? When the bottom of a situation is you're drafted 12th into the NBA draft, you're a lottery pick, the stakes aren't super high. By the way, everybody is mocking Con Knipple to Charlotte. Let's hear from Bill Simmons, who was actually interviewing Con Knipple and just said to his face, Charlotte's perfect for you.
Charlotte's like kind of perfect with LaMelo and Bridges and Brandon Miller. Like, they clearly need somebody like you. So you go on through, and I don't know, it just feels like you could fit in any situation. Plus, you can play multiple positions, right? Like, potentially you could play a 3 in some position, in some situations. You could be a 2. You could initiate some offense. Like, I'm not worried about you.
That's right to his face. So we can, that's fun. That's good stuff. Drake Powell out of UNC. Sion James, Tyrese Proctor, Hunter Salas out of Wake Forest. These are guys that like Drake Powell wants to, I'm sure, and for career longevity expectations, needs to be a first-round pick. I've seen him mocked everywhere from 28 to 34. Some in that range in the first round, some in the second round. He gets drafted on Wednesday, that's huge. First-round picks have 9 lives in the NBA. Right? If you flame out with one team, another team will go, ooh, this was a first-rounder not that long ago. Let's pick him up. You get sent to the G League, they expect to bring you back up. Second-round picks, they wash out quick. Nobody's itching to give them a second option or a second chance. Tyrese Proctor, Sion James, probably second-round picks, but if they're at the end of the second round, you might as well be undrafted. Hunter Salas, he might not get drafted. I'm seeing him mocked 55+. Those are the ones who, like this next week, their agents are working hard. Cooper Flagg, Con Knippel, their agents are sitting with their feet up somewhere answering the phone when they have to. They're not working as aggressively unless they have other clients that need it. And finally, big 3 at 3, number 3. Hat tip to Adam Gold, who hosted the Adam Gold Show right before this one. He pointed it out on social media. According to FanDuel Sportsbook, the Canes are betting favorites for the 2026 Stanley Cup. Right? The season starts today. I posted right this morning, one of the first things I did, right? Take a shower, shave, and then I posted. And the post was, for those of you that know, Happy Gilmore in the batting cage, taking the baseballs off the chest and forehead, going 364 more days till hockey tryouts. Got to toughen up. Right, the day after the previous year's hockey tryouts. The day after this season ends, the next season starts. Canes are amongst the betting favorites. If you go to other books, right, DraftKings and the like, ESPN Bet, you can see, and a few others, like Panthers are up there. Oilers are the betting favorite in some. Avalanche, actually, the betting favorite in some. Where you put the Canes in that top group right now is solely based off of how much confidence you have in the front office. Right, there will be moves that shake the odds. If the Canes make the right moves, FanDuel will look smart for leaving them as the favorite. If they don't, they'll look foolish. So obviously, FanDuel has a bit more confidence in GM Eric Tolsky in the front office of the Canes.
I feel like there's been some point over the last 4 or 5 seasons. At some point in the season, they're the favorites. So
darn sure the offseason. There's definitely offseason moments. And then sometimes they're there a long time. But they haven't quite gotten over the hump yet. So this season, it's a fresh start. New mindset back at the top. Got to live up to it. And as we saw with the Florida Panthers, there's always room to get better. Right? They won back-to-back cups. The teams weren't exactly the same. Right? They didn't just run it back. They didn't just re-sign everybody. They made some moves at the deadline. They did some things to try to get better, and they won the cup again. In one fewer game in the final. Didn't need Game 7 this time. Take that, Edmonton. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. As we talked about with number 1, the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. But as always, as I try to say all the time, you look to those that are where you want to be. You don't have to mimic them. You don't have to do an impression of them. But you see if there's anything you can learn from them. What can the Canes learn from the Panthers? Just weird to say. We'll talk about that coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
NASCAR Prime is gearing up for the Tricky Triangle at Pocono.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
After 5 decades of racing tradition, it's clear that strategy is king at Pocono.
Finally, some separation between first, second, and third.
3 legendary turns, 3 unique approaches.
Wow, that's close.
Who will tame the triangle this year? Don't miss the Cup Series at Pocono, streaming Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Let's freaking go!
NASCAR, it's on Prime.
Triple play, triple play, triple play. 3 ways to win on every scratch-off. They're like a 3-man wrecking crew of winning potential smashing into your bare hands. Triple threats of cold, hard cash. Prizes up to $1 million. 3 times the play, 3 times the thrills, and 3 ways to win. Triple play from the North Carolina Education Lottery with triple action-packed chances to win.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.84 to 4.79. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Down on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
That's what it sounded like last night when the Florida Panthers sealed the deal, although it felt sealed significantly earlier than the final buzzer in that one. Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. I don't have to like it. You don't have to like it, but it's factual. Back-to-back cups, 3 straight appearances. They are officially who everyone is chasing. Now, I actually kind of like when the one you're chasing is someone you don't like. Like, if you had too much, like, affection and respect for the top of the top, then, I don't know, maybe you're chasing with a smile on your face, and I don't think that's as effective as chasing with a scowl and wanting to go get them, right? So that maybe is a silver lining there. But the fact of the matter is the Panthers are who they are because they're good. And they are who they are because they carry, like, the stupidest part. And by the way, stupidest, it's only from where I'm sitting, not from inside the Panthers locker room. The stupidest part was it did feel like the Panthers had a chip on their shoulder. Like they were going around like nobody believed in them when they're the defending Cup champions, and they added at the deadline, and they had all of these super good dudes, and it did feel like they're out there to prove something wrong, which is a credit to their culture. Like, Paul Maurice didn't give a post-game presser with a smile on his face the entire time, and it just it's their vibe. So as frustrating as it is, good on them. They're a good team. They played with fight and they won. We'll let Sam Bennett say it because he scored 15 playoff goals. Sam Bennett on why they've continued to have long-term success.
I mean, it starts with the culture here. There's a way that we do things here, and it's not easy. We don't play an easy style of hockey. It demands a lot out of you, but I think every single guy's bought into it, but once the new guys come in, they instantly bought into this, what we do here, and the commitment to being great, to winning. Every single guy just really bought into that, and I mean, it starts with the culture, but the character of the guys. I think that's why we're able to do this.
All right, I'll take all that for face value. He says it. Go ahead. In the interest of the way I look at the Stanley Cup final when your team is already eliminated, or any playoff if your team doesn't make the playoff, right? You're looking at those that are sitting in the seats you want to sit in, holding the trophies you want to hold, and you try to find a morsel, a nugget, something that you can grab from them and apply to your team. I don't think the Canes need any advice on culture. I don't think the Canes need any advice on guys working hard or being selfless or any of that kind of stuff. So you're not going to take that away from the Panthers. You already have that. I talked about it earlier. The silver lining is simple. The system the Canes run, which is similar to the Panthers, can win championships, can be at least on the precipice of a dynasty. This is kind of proof in the pudding, right? It's proof positive that system can win at the highest levels of postseason hockey. The lesson is You need a few more dudes to do it. You need a few more top-level players. You need to ferociously chase having what Eric Tulsky says. And I'm not breaking news here. I'm not trying to, be like, oh, I have this great analysis of get better players. But there is a sense of don't be content. You can be a 100-point team in the regular season. You can be a 105-point team in the regular season. You need dudes in the postseason. The Panthers over the last few years have been aggressive in assembling guys that have become the main characters of their postseason runs. Traded for Tkachuk, traded for Reinhart, traded for Bennett, traded even at the deadline for, in years past, guys like Tarasenko, or in this year, Marchand, traded for Seth Jones, like on and on and on. This is not, hey, we had a good farm system, we drafted really well in the mid-2000s, and it's finally coming to bloom. No, they went out and looked for players that were unhappy where they were, or teams that weren't going to win with their vets and they were looking to sell, and they found a way to buy them, found a way to keep them under the cap, found a way to have them on team-friendly deals. Nobody's making $14 million for the Panthers, but they had dudes. The system is great, and it works, and there's no doubt about that. Matter of fact, sometimes it works so good that you can overachieve with dudes that aren't everything I just said. But this offseason for Carolina is about closing the talent gap. It's about closing the high-end, top-level talent gap. And literally, the way I'm going to start judging them against teams like the Panthers, against the complete full teams, are go 1-1-1-1, right? All right, who's your best player? Who's your best player? Put them on a row. Who's better? Who's your second best player? Who's your third best player? Who's your fourth best player? And I'm not even gonna judge off like, give me your first defenseman, your second defenseman. I'm just talking talent. Right? You need a handful of guys that are just studs. It's scheme and coaching and culture can only take you so far. It's both. One of my most frustrating things that every coach in the history of the world has uttered is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Right? Because that is like a motivational saying, but it is contingent. Right? You need the talent not to work hard. Hard work beats talent as long as talent doesn't work hard. The championships are won not by hard work beating talent when they don't work hard. The championships are won when talent works as hard as not talent. So that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Like the Canes' effort. And everybody talks about how their system is so demanding, and after every game you feel like you ran a marathon, particularly if you're on the blue line, and you have to be a certain kind of effort psycho to play in that system, which is all true. And if you play with that kind of effort, you can beat teams that are more talented than you until you run up against a team that is more talented than you and working at least as close to hard as you. And that's kind of what they ran up into, right? There's just a simple, very, very basic truth of sports that you need a guy. And in some sports, it's more important. I'll admit, hockey, it's not as important as maybe basketball. Basketball, if you don't have your all-time great, you better, tank and hope that the lottery looks your way with affectionate eyes. But you need a couple in hockey as well. And we're seeing things like Brad Marchand just solidified his Hall of Fame credentials with this run through the postseason. And I'm probably agreeing, but that just shows, what pick was that even? It was a second that turned into a first because they made it a certain length, and it's not for a billion years into the future.
Yeah, and the thing that bothers me about that is like people are like very upset that the Bruins did that. I can see being upset with the Bruins that they offered him that like 2-year, like $3 million per, because that would be pretty insulting. But based on their team's timeline, they sold off everybody on that team at the deadline and bottomed out. Like, I think it's honestly, you're doing Marchand a service. You sent him to a competitive team. You sent him to what appears to be a very desirable destination for top NHL players, and they went and he won a cup, and they got a first-round pick out of it, and it might not be the most valuable one, but it's better than getting nothing and forcing your guy to play out the rest of his contract on a team that's bottoming out for the second half of the season. So It's a move that made sense to me.
It is probably more fun to argue about the Boston side because from the Florida side, it's just, now that it's solidified by this run, you got a Hall of Famer for a pick at the middle of the season, and he ended up being one of your best players in a postseason run. Like, that's the kind of value in the margins that you need to constantly be going after. That's like just those names I mentioned that they traded for. Kachuk, Reinhart, Bennett, Marchand, Seth Jones. They don't win. You take 3 of those guys off. I don't know if they beat the Canes. I don't know if they're against the Canes in the Eastern Conference Finals. But they made the moves. And again, I hate saying all of this, right? You got a hat tip to your rival. It's like, you don't want to do it, but I am also, and if you listen to the show, I think I make this obvious. I am all about competition, and to the winners goes the spoils, and they're the last one standing.
Exactly. It's hard to see what they've done over the last few years and not, tip your cap and appreciate what they've built. And it's been a good mix of stuff too. They made all those great trades for those top end players, but they've developed a lot of great players internally as well. Barkov being obviously the big one, but also a really big factor. Anton Lundell, third line center, he had 18 points, all at even strength in the playoffs. So, and he's only 23 years old, by the way. So he's going to continue to terrorize people as a middle 6, bottom 6 center for a while.
I want them to sign everybody, particularly the older veterans, to gigantic deals that become anchors. That's they haven't really done that in the past, but I hope they do, because it'd be nice if they slowed down a little bit. But like I said, today is the first day of next year. Ball up top, right? Now everybody's chasing it again. Let's run it back. And I'm going to say this like I said it at the beginning of the postseason this year. From like a are they likely to win the cup perspective, we can have this debate a billion times. I hope the Canes want the Panthers in the Eastern Conference Finals next year. I hope they are frothing at the mouth, salivating with excitement to have another chance at the Panthers next year, especially after they make the additions that I think and hope they will make this offseason to make their team better. Like, I hope they're the type of competitors that aren't going like, I hope the Lightning eliminate the Panthers early. No, I hope they want Kachuk and they want him healthy. And they want Bennett and they want him healthy. And they want to go up there and show that they can beat and compete and all those things with the team that has established themselves as the team everybody's chasing. Then, from my perspective, it'd be nice if you didn't have to go through that team and somebody else took them out ahead of time. But that doesn't change what you want, right? You want the chance to avenge your previous losses. Although at the end, I think Edmonton was probably going, if we never see the Panthers ever again, that'd be A-okay.
Yeah, I don't think they would mind.
They got some questions to answer over there too. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Misery loves company. If you're upset with how the Canes played against the Panthers, call up your friend from Edmonton. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up next, and I guarantee you someone from this Men's College Baseball World Series will be on the Dean's List. I'll tell you who next.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, I love the weather that we have going on right now. I love getting on the motorcycle and just cruising around, but I have to make sure I do everything necessary to make sure I'm safe before I even get on the motorcycle. Make sure that my bike is in proper working order. Make sure the tire pressure is good. One thing you can do to take care of your bike, wash it, clean it. Take care of your bike, and your bike will take care of you. You don't want a bunch of gunk and things all built up in the engine. Take care of your motorcycle. But if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, make sure you contact Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you get in touch with the insurance company. Insurance companies, they want to give you the least amount possible. Law Tigers, they're riders too. They know what you're going through after an accident. They know what your bike and your gear are worth. That's why your case evaluation is always free, and they don't get paid a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles' Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
A pepperoni pizza for the table. May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time. Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Handy Hugo's has a refreshing deal. 2 1-liter Pepsis for just $3. Quench your thirst at Handy Hugo's today.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Sunday, June 22nd at Bank of America Stadium. Football legends collide at the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Real Madrid and Pachuca. Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham taking on Elias Montiel and Solomon Rondon. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Want you all to be a part of our community there. You can join the conversation in the comment section, lively. Traditionally, it is lively, and I look forward to reading through it. And we do feedback frenzies throughout where you might just hear your comments or your questions brought right on air. So, again, it's all on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Search for it, subscribe, like, tell your friends, all of those things. In the meantime, it is time for something we call the Dean's List. Class is in session. The first Dean's List has to go to what's going on right now in Omaha. Coastal Carolina riding a 25-game, we're talking baseball, 25-game win streak. Jumped all over Louisville. They're ahead 6-0. 6-0 by the end of the first inning, by the way. It's now top of the fourth, and it is already, or still, I should say. It is still 6-0. Still a lot of baseball left to be played. Obviously, our ACC allegiances have to be with Louisville, but there's something cool about the mid-majors taking on the big bad bullies on the block, and Coastal has done so with a ton of success, kind of working their way, the Chanticleers, into being some kind of a mid-major baseball powerhouse.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to argue. 25 wins in a row.
25.
Looking like 26 if they hold this one off.
25. Now, I don't know. Oh, okay, that's never mind. They're showing kids getting on the screen, right? It's here in the studio. They're showing kids getting snow cones.
That's so many flavors.
And the glass bottles that they have the flavors in for the snow cones that you drizzle the syrup or whatever over the ice. They looked like they were perhaps liquor bottles to me at first glance. And I was like, why are all these kids just hanging around the liquor bottles?
I mean, one of the teams is Louisville, probably in those areas. They got the whiskey and bourbon over there. So
for just at first glance, I was like, what is going on in Omaha? It was just snow cones, everybody, just snow cones. Coastal Carolina 6-0 over Louisville. I mean, if we had to pick a player, I guess it would be their first baseman Thorndike, because he has a 3 RBI hit. So there you go. He gets to be on the Dean's list so far. We'll keep you updated on if they can hold on for the win over our ACC compatriot, the Louisville Cardinal. Next up on the Dean's list, South Carolina football. I'm never going to get used to the numbers that are thrown around in college football and basketball. I'm going to try, but I feel like I'm always going to be jaw on the floor. Quarterback Lenora Sellers for the South Carolina Gamecocks is a monster, right? He's one of those, traits are unbelievable. Big, tall, strong, fast, strong arm, makes the throws. If he can be just a hair better with his offensive execution, you're probably looking at a first-round pick, top end of the first round. His dad, Lenora Sellers' dad, told The Athletic, other schools reached out to see if he was interested in transferring. I don't believe he was ever in the transfer portal, but other schools reached out to see if he was interested in transferring, and the biggest offer he heard was for $8 million over 2 years. Lenora Sellers, offer from a different team, $8 million. The reason why South Carolina football is on the Dean's list is because Lenora Sellers is still at South Carolina, which means he turned down $8 million. Now, there's to me 2 ways that happens. One, they matched it or got close to it, right? And, hey, this team's offering me $8 million. South Carolina said, all right, give us a couple minutes. And they went and raised the $8 million to give him. Or the other side is they provided enough value, or the sellers believe that South Carolina and Coach Shane Beamer and that offense and that community provide enough value in other ways that it was worth it to turn down $8 million. Either way, that's a win for the Gamecocks. When somebody offers $8 million for one of your players to leave and they stay, you got something going. Either you got a fundraising, you got the cash to make it happen, or you got the culture that they don't want to leave. One or the other, that's good. That's good business. That is good business. $8 million, 2 years for Lenora Sellers. Name names, Mr. Sellers. Name names, Dad Sellers. Tell me who it was. What team? No, don't do that, because then some starting quarterback is going to be like, they offered $8 million to replace me? That's not cool. But still, credit to him. Do you have a Dean's List you want to throw in here, Max?
I do. A bit of an unusual one as we're talking about the College World Series here. My Dean's List, it's going to go to, there's a lot of individuals involved in this, so I'll just give it to Mardi Gras Mike. I don't know if you've seen this.
Mardi Gras Mike?
Mardi Gras Mike. So this company in New Orleans, a custom design company called Kern Studios, when LSU was going to the College World Series, they designed this 13-foot-long float of a tiger for LSU called Mardi Gras Mike, and sent one of their employees, I believe his name is Jacob Stone. He's towing it around in Omaha, drove all the way from Baton Rouge, and they're driving around with this huge tiger float. Apparently the eyes blink, it roars. Apparently it might play the fight song.
It is. I just brought it up.
Yeah.
It is like it's being towed by what looks like, 4-door extended cab truck, like a big truck. The tiger is bigger than the truck.
Yeah, it's massive.
That's impressive.
Credit to LSU and the intensity of the fans. I assume whoever manages this Kern Studios is a big LSU fan, or maybe it was a big contract or something. But 15-hour drive from New Orleans to Omaha. One of the managers there, his name was Chris Richier, said he did not get pulled over during the drive by police.
How would you?
But also did not get the attention of any fans interested in taking pictures. Maybe they didn't know what they were seeing that giant tiger drive down the highway.
5 inches tall. That's how big Mardi Gras Mike is, the tiger. If they win, then you're gonna see this at like.
It'll be. I mean, they does tease here in this article. Fans could see Mardi Gras Mike around more sports than just baseball.
You're gonna see it at football games. You're gonna see it.
It could become a big fixture for LSU. I wonder if it'll end up like a college game day with the Washington State flag. Maybe somebody will just drive this massive.
Well, if they have game day
around
at LSU, you'll definitely see like Pat McAfee riding it or something, jumping off like a Buffalo Bill style and landing on a table. What I will say is this stuff is cool. The copycats are never as cool. It's like the turnover chain for Miami. I don't like Miami, right? But the turnover chain when they first did it was cool. Then when every single team had a turnover prop, there was like the turnover throne, the turnover basketball hoop you dunked on, the turnover sword, the turnover. It ended up being like kind of cheesy. Like when your mom started saying bling about her jewelry, it was like, well, now it's not cool in rap songs anymore. If Mardi Gras Mike becomes LSU's thing, I think it's cool. If suddenly like there's a 13.5-foot tiger, and when they play against Georgia, there's a 14 feet 7-inch bulldog, and when they play against Alabama, there's an elephant, then it's no longer cool. Then you just have a bunch of guys dragging like large action figures around. But I do like it. I didn't know about that. I hadn't heard anything about it. It's cool. Last one here for you. College basketball gets on the dean's list. The NBA draft is a week away. So I'm looking at all the mock drafts. We'll just use ESPN's mock draft as a barrier or as a placeholder and representative of mock drafts. As of right now, in ESPN's latest mock draft, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th player played college basketball this year. There was a decade ago, it felt like the entire lottery was all international prospects, and even some players that grew up here, like the LaMelo Balls. There was that same year there was another guard, I forget his name. They went to play in Australia rather than playing their one and done year in the NBA. There was the time where guys were going to the G League, overtime, whatever, for a year rather than going to college basketball. The NIL world that can now pay college athletes, and just the nature of development, I guess, in college has made it so, once again, the NBA draft goes through college basketball, which I think is good. I think it's good for the college basketball product. Even, I went and looked it up. Igor Demin from BYU, Kasparis Jokinciunas. Sorry if I'm pronouncing.
Yakachonis.
There you go. From Illinois. I had a feeling that was wrong. I was going to apologize. Common Malawash from Duke. We know him. VJ Edgecombe from Baylor, who's, I didn't realize, a Bahamas native. Those are all international prospects projected in the lottery that played in the American college system. That never would have happened back in the day. They would have played. I actually think Edgecombe ended up playing high school around in Florida. But you know, the Europeans never would have come over for a year. They would have stayed there, played in their clubs, and then bounced over here for the draft. So I think that's a good development for college basketball. If NBA fans and NBA nerds have to catch like the ACC tournament if they want to see who they're going to draft, rather than watching grainy footage from the third league in France, like that's good for college basketball. It's just going to continue to drive up the awareness. So there you go. That's the dean's list. Let's go ahead and dismiss class. Beautiful. And head towards the Stanley Cup. Wrapped up yesterday, which means the offseason is here. How quickly can the Carolina Hurricanes lock up Logan Stankoven to a long-term deal? He spoke about it. We have that audio coming up next. But first, I want to tell you all about Miller Lending. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. See that? See how I acted like I was going to commercial, and then I flew back in? It's unpredictable. Just like the rates, right? You can't tell me what interest rates are going to do, up or down. You may think, oh, this one's going down. But wait, it's up. Well, if in a volatile market, the best way you can protect yourself is with a no closing cost loan from Miller Lending. Now, protect yourself. What do I mean? Well, if you lock in a rate today, rates might be a little bit higher than you want. And you'd be worried that 2 weeks from now, a month from now, rates are going to drop considerably, and you're going to have to pay all those closing costs and fees again when you do your refi to get your monthly payment down. Or the vice versa is true, right? Rates, they're a little high right now. I'll wait because I want them to drop, and I don't want to sign up for this rate right now. I won't get my mortgage. I'll wait to move. I'll rent for a little bit longer. Well, then rates go up and up and up, and you feel dumb because you didn't lock in the rate when you had the opportunity. Get a no closing cost loan, means no cost, no fees out of your pocket from Miller Lending. They've been doing it since they arrived here in the Triangle. Gordon's been doing them since 1987. And that way, if rates go up, you locked it in yesterday with a no closing cost loan. If rates go down, no closing cost means no cost, no fees out of your pocket. Refinance, no harm, no foul, no cash out of your pocket. Get that lower monthly payment, regardless of what the market does. You're protected. The number to call is simple. I'll give it to you right now: 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or visit them online at millerlending.com. Millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. The Stankoven conversation that I teased, it will be coming up in just a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere.
It is I, Juan Carlos Santiago del Santiago, the coolest man in the world. Yes, I am back in Raleigh. Do I go downtown with so many places to party? No, I go to the Shocky's place. The good food, the fine drinks, the coldest of beers, and of course, the many, many beautiful people. I always hang at the Shocky's place, the coolest bar in the world, because, well, it was built for me. Juan Carlos Santiago del Santiago, the coolest man in the world. The Shocky's place, 8800 de Raleigh Road by the Shelley Station.
Experience legendary craftsmanship with an Omega timepiece. From the iconic Speedmaster that accompanied astronauts to the moon, to the Seamaster, loved by the world's most famous spy, Omega watches capture the spirit of adventure and precision. At Bailey's Fine Jewelry, find a timepiece that matches your story. Discover your Omega at Bailey's today. Voted Best Jeweler. Learn more at baileybox.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Victoria with 99.9 The Fan with a Men's Health Month tip from Wake Med Heart and Vascular. Each year, smoking causes more than 480,000 deaths in the United States. That's nearly 1 in 5 deaths. Those aren't odds you want to play with. Don't put off kicking the habit. In just 1 year after quitting, a person's risk for coronary heart disease decreases by half. Learn more about how you can quit and get started today, plus other ways to care for your heart at wakemed.org.
Keishan back in his own zone makes a nice play away from Rodriguez.
Keishan looks the part again. There he goes.
Now he'll backhand one up Stankoven. Stankoven with a shot. He scores! Logan Stankoven! And for the first time in this series, the Canes have a lead. It's 1-0. Carolina on another bullet by Logan Stankoven.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. A cheerful song on a Wednesday. All right. There's so many moving parts this Canes offseason, partially because we're all, as I've said a million times, we're all just fantasizing about the moves that could potentially happen, the high-priced wingers that score 40, 50 goals, the centers that can solve all the issues. They're all right there. Can't forget about the guys already on the roster. Logan Stankoven and Alexander Nikishin. You want to do everything you can to get them locked into a long-term deal this offseason. And the reason why I say that is this. Trust your evaluation, okay? Because if the Canes' evaluation of these guys is correct, and based on everything we've heard from Eric Tulsky and Rod Brindamore and the experts that cover the sport, these are two guys that are really good for different reasons, right? Alexander Nikishin is super, obviously good, right? 6'4", 215, 220, fast, skates well, been the best, supposedly, the best non-NHL defenseman for a couple of years now during his time in the KHL over in Russia. Logan Stankoven is great for maybe less obvious ways, undersized, but you watch him play and he just continuously does good thing after good thing after good thing. He's been a major part of 2 deep postseason runs for 2 different teams already. He's played in both the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, and he just finished his rookie season. Think about that. And if you trust your evaluation on everything I just said, they're never going to be cheaper than they are right now. Right? We talked about Logan Stankoven potentially playing his way into an Olympic roster spot next year. Long shot, but there's potential there. If he does that, he's not going to be cheaper next offseason than he is now. Alexander Nikishin has played, 4 games in the NHL in North America? You don't think after a month of that guy getting a chance to figure it out, his agents won't be able to say, yeah, yesterday's price is not today's price. Matter of fact, I think that's probably the hardest part of getting him signed now is his agents likely also want to bet on his development in the same way the Canes do. But if you can get these guys locked in now, I don't think they're going to be cheaper at any point in time in the near future. They're both young enough that you'd expect them to keep getting better. And that's a big deal. Now, they're very different situations, right? Partially because of Alexander Nikishin and the agent situation and the coming from Russia situation, and there's a whole bunch of other things that may or may not matter there. But Logan Stankoven spoke to the media. It spoke on a radio station. Do you have the name of the station? I would give them a shout out.
Yeah, it's 6:10 a.m. It's Radio NL and Kamloops.
There you go. He spoke with that station about his future and had some nice things to say about potentially signing long-term with Carolina. Let's start with his major takeaways from his half a season, roughly, here in the Triangle.
Definitely the fans, just so loud, and they bring the noise each night, so it was a fun building to play in. And I just think the group of guys, even though I was only there for a few months and playoffs, it was a really tight group, and it was easy to see why those guys, make it so far each year. Just a really great group that was welcoming and made me feel part of the team right away. So those were the 2 main things.
Sounds like you liked it. It was obvious, and you know it, right? And this isn't just hockey. It's any group. You don't want to be like the first impressions guy and judge off of, but you know pretty quickly whether someone's going to fit in or not, right? You know pretty quickly if somebody's going to enter into your group or not. Or if they're like, oh, super nice, like super good dude, but, he's probably not going to be in my clique. Like it doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. It just, when someone fits, and it was obvious from the jump that Logan Stankoven fit in with the Carolina Hurricanes and actually brought in a few things that I think the Canes needed, right? I loved Stankoven getting in the face of guys like Tom Wilson. I loved his ability, despite his kind of diminutive stature, to get the puck off the boards or to play with a net front presence or to bring a little bit of extra scrap. So he likes it. They liked it. Get together, get a deal, right? Stankoven sounds like that's something he would be interested in once you can kind of start talking about it July 1.
Yeah, personally, I'd love to. I think it seems like the team likes to sign, the younger guys to longer-term deals, and that'd be great for me. That'd be a dream come true to sign a deal like that. But I guess we'll just wait and see for now until I guess July 1st is when they can kind of start talking to me about a new deal and an extension. So we'll wait until then and see what happens.
He's already open to it. You don't have to convince him that a long-term deal in Carolina is right. Think about how different that is than, say, Martin Necas, right? Martin Necas, it was like pulling teeth to get him to agree to anything because it felt like he wanted to hit the open market. Logan Stankoven's saying, it looks like they like to lock guys up to a long-term contract. Carolina's going, that's exactly what we want to do. And they're going, well, then we should do it. It's like, all right, we should do it. Then there's the other sides, right? The other value that needs to be taken care of. Part of making the Mikko trade, the Mikko Rantanen saga, a success for the Canes is developing Logan Stankoven into a long-term player for your franchise. And do you know what actually bodes well and makes me like I like Logan as a player just from play style, but something that makes me think even higher of him as like a quality player, listen to Dallas fans. They're bummed that guy is gone. They want him back, right? Every time I talk on social media about potentially making a trade for Jason Robertson and saying, hey, we got your picks. Do you want him back? They all respond with like, forget the picks. Give us Stankoven back. Like they want that dude, which is the best like vote of confidence possible, right? If you ever inquire in a trade, like, hey, how about that guy? And they're like, perfect, yes. I'd be like, whoa, wait a second. Never mind. Hold on. Right? I want them to go, really? You want him? I don't know. Even if they're acting, do that because it makes me feel better. The Stars group, they like that guy. And so do the Canes. All right, now you're impressing multiple fan bases at once. That's the sign of a guy that is truly good. He fits with the Canes. We talked about that. It's I was on a podcast and I used this reference. It's funny. My two most quoted movies are like the smartest sports movie and Moneyball, where like you have to watch with like a notepad and make sure you're keeping track of everything, and the dumbest sports movie in Draft Day, where you're just, I want picks. Sure, you can have them. No, I want them. No, I wrote this in my pocket. Ha, we win. What you mean? You took an off-ball linebacker and a running back in the first round. In that movie, there is a portion where they're okay. So for this, it's an NFL draft movie. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing, but they're looking to draft a stud quarterback like the Trevor Lawrence, the Andrew Luck. Right? There's this can't miss quarterback, and the GM looks to his scouts and he goes, "What's wrong with him?" And the scouts are nothing, right? He's perfect. Oh, he stands tall. He throws rockets. He's agile. There's nothing wrong with them. And the point that the GM was trying to make was find out what's wrong with him, right? They used to say Elway threw it too hard. He didn't have any touch. But in the end, it didn't matter. They said Peyton Manning's arm wasn't strong enough. He couldn't make every throw. But in the end, it didn't matter. Find out what's wrong with this guy and then figure out if it matters. Logan Stankoven, he's a smaller guy, right? We know what the scouting report is going to say, on his prospect profile, right? Skates well, played but undersized guy and the physicality, who knows how he's going to hold up. It's really nice to know on the surface, like there is that guy's flaw, and we've seen it not matter. He plays bigger. This is not, the Canes just don't care about size and their analytics. No, it's not that. It's, I've seen him play. He doesn't play small. So, yes, we know that exists, and we have already pointed out it doesn't matter. Just like, Peyton Manning doesn't have Josh Allen's arm, but I'll be darned if he didn't complete a lot of deep balls. Like, it just didn't matter. I like Logan Stankoven for that way. And if I'm right about all this, he's never going to be cheaper than he is now. Lock him up so you can build around his contract and the others that you have. It's no different than the Jarvis deal. It's no different than, they just get him locked up to a reasonable number, and it will age phenomenally.
There's so many parallels to Jarvis there, too, with them being a bit smaller players. They're both very good with the puck retrievals, both not afraid to shoot the puck on goal. I've been saying a lot over the last season, it kind of feels like they're trying to build the team out of Seth Jarvis's, because it's Jarvis, Stankoven, Jackson Blake is kind of in that same mold as well, really good with the puck retrievals and not the biggest guy. It's not the worst thing in the world. Of course, you want a couple bigger guys that are going to be able to throw the weight around in the playoffs, as it's clearly been shown by Florida. But, if you can find those kind of value players and you can lock them up, when they're young and when they won't cost as much in the year over year, you definitely need to do it.
Building the team out of Seth Jarvis's, 40% Seth Jarvis's, fantastic. I don't know if you want 100% Seth Jarvis's, but 40% Seth Jarvis's each and every time. If Jackson Blake develops into that, and I don't think he's quite there, every time. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. ESPN, right? It's off season. They put out an all-quarter century team. How about that? You want to make everybody feel old? We are a fourth of the way through this century. Now that we're in 2025 and all the seasons are wrapping up, they put out an all-quarter century team in the NFL. 3 Carolina Panthers made the list. Get your guesses flowing. Which ones made the list, and what does it tell you about the Carolina Panthers? Stick around.
NASCAR Prime is gearing up for the Tricky Triangle at Pocono.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for. After 5 decades of racing tradition, it's clear that strategy is king at Pocono.
Finally, some separation between first, second, and third.
3 legendary turns, 3 unique approaches.
Wow, that's close.
Who will tame the triangle this year? Don't miss the Cup Series at Pocono, streaming Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR, it's on Prime.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More, the place to go for sipping rosés with seltzers on ice. All kinds of beers with more reasons for cheers. It's warm out, let's go. Our prices are low on all our beers and wines. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Highs in the mid-90s, but feeling more like 104 to 105 this afternoon. So be very careful. The hottest temperatures so far this year are with us well into next week. 77 overnight tonight, and tomorrow's hot too with a high of 95. But we do have a good chance for storms tomorrow, late afternoon and evening. A cold front will roll through. So tomorrow's a WRAL weather alert day with a chance of some severe thunderstorms.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 39 points to 42,176.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump into the conversation about the best Panthers of the century, I do want to update everybody just because we've talked about Jair Alexander as a possible for the possible addition for the Carolina Panthers. He signed with the Baltimore Ravens earlier today on a very similar deal to the one we expected him to sign. 1 year, $4-6 million, depending on how likely he is to hit some incentives. Can be even more than that with unlikelier to earn incentives. But it turns out the report is he turned down more money elsewhere. Wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers were on that list. We may have to talk about that moving forward if more information comes out. He is a Louisville guy, played at Louisville, and the picture where he signed was immediately followed that they put out for hey, look who signed. Included Lamar Jackson, who also played at Louisville with Jair Alexander. So could be a little bit of a good recruiting pitch to have one of his college really good friends who happens to be a multiple-time league MVP leading your franchise and trying to get over the hump to win a Super Bowl. Panthers couldn't offer that. Bryce Young didn't play at Louisville. Not much you can do there. Anywho, so we'll keep you updated if more comes out on what the Panthers were offering or if there's a report or anything like that. We'll have that conversation. In the meantime, ESPN put out their all-quarter century team. Whew. Crazy. 25 years into the century already, which means, I believe, starting maybe July, we are closer to the year 2050 than 2000? Does that math add up?
I'm not sure. It depends on how far into the year.
We're close.
Maybe
On-air math is never what I should be doing.
I think once 2025 is over, then yes.
Fair. Fair. Still, we're getting there close. See, now you've stumbled into
now I'm confusing
you've
myself.
Stumbled into the bear trap.
Maybe once we get into July, because that's the second half of the year. Or?
Maybe. I threw that out there with absolutely no thought involved. My point is, quarter of the century is over, and ESPN put out their NFL all-quarter century team, and there are 3 Panthers on the list. The 3 Panthers are Christian McCaffrey. And they broke it down by position. So there were like 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, whatever. Running back Christian McCaffrey, edge Julius Peppers, and linebacker Luke Kuechly. Those were the 3 from the Panthers. Now, I feel an obligation to say this. The list was shaky at best. The 3 running backs, in addition to CMC, it was Priest, Holmes, and Derrick Henry. Now, that's not to say those 3 aren't really good, and I'm a fan of all 3, but LaDainian Tomlinson was in, they had an honorable mention category that they called the practice squad. They had LaDainian Tomlinson on the practice squad and didn't even mention Adrian Peterson. It just feels like there was some missteps there. So take it with a grain of salt, okay? Take it with this is not an end-all, be-all. But still, even if it, The list gave me heavy vibes of trying to be too smart, where they were looking at if you take Priest Holmes' 3 best seasons, the DVOAYQR metric says that the dominator rating was never higher than in his 2nd season with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm like, yeah, but I also watched the 2 of them. And Adrian Peterson was pretty good. LaDainian Tomlinson scored a lot of touchdowns. That's a stat that matters also. But that's neither here nor there, right? Even if the list is trying too hard to be smart, it is an honor for CMC, Peppers, and Kuechly to be put on lists like these, right? This quarter century's had a lot of really good players. They're amongst the best. But also the lesson for the Panthers is each time they've made the Super Bowl this century, 1 time each, or twice, I should say, they've had an all-quarter century young defensive player. They had Julius Peppers very early in his career. They had Luke Kuechly early in his career. It goes back to what we were saying about the Canes. You can't win without great players, and not just Pro Bowl players, right? That's so disrespectful. Just Pro Bowl players? Not just Pro Bowl players. You need history will remember these guys players, right? When you paid J.C. Horn as much as you paid J.C. Horn, $100 million, right? I say it too much with these big contracts. With great money comes great responsibility. You don't need J.C. Horn to be one of the 5 best corners in the league. You need him to be on first half of the century lists 25 years from now. That's how you end up winning Super Bowls. Bryce Young, oh, look at this. He could bounce back and be a top 15 starter. No. You need to shoot high. He was a 1st overall pick. Right? You need somebody that's making lists years later. History will remember them lists. Luke Kuechly played, 8 years in the league? And he made the all-quarter century team. Think about the Bobby Wagners of the world. Think about some of these guys that are playing forever and ever, the Ray Lewises of the world that played so many darn years. And Luke Kuechly was one of the couple of off-ball linebackers on the list despite playing 8 seasons. That's, by the way, you're not going to have 22 of them, okay? Don't get me wrong. Every starter's not going to be there, but you need a couple. You need a few. Derek Brown, right? We had the feedback frenzy yesterday, and Max read a comment from one of the listeners who said, Derek Brown is a beast, and the Panthers are going to have a top 5 defense in the league this year because Derek Brown is a beast. That's how good Derek Brown has to be. Derek Brown is already one of the best run stuffers, if not the best interior defensive lineman run stuffer in the league. He had 103 tackles the last season he was healthy. That's absurd. I need him to be that good stuffing the run and give me 7.5 sacks. right? That's what the Aaron Donalds, that's what the Peak and Ndamukong Suhs, that's what the Chris Joneses are able to do. They're not just one or the other, they're both. And that's what makes people 20 years from now, when they're having a debate, go, you can't leave this guy off the list. Right? I am probably rare in sports media in that these lists I think are fun and entertaining and kind of should be taken with a hefty dose of they're probably wrong. Okay? Because some people, I mean, if you've watched debate TV recently, goodness gracious, if you say somebody's like a top 10 player, it becomes World War III. You can think whatever you want, right? You can have your debates. Oh, you think this player is there. I think that player is there. But I choose to look at it from and I did take one anthropology class in college, anthropological viewpoint of if a lot of people, if a lot of periodicals, if a lot of publications like ESPN are naming these same players, that says something about maybe not the player as much as how we remember that player, right? It's like I said, it's like anthropological. It's the study of humans. What did they do that stuck in our craw that changed the way that we treat them later on? Priest Holmes was not the best running back of this century. He was not. Okay, and I could, right, there's two ways to attack this list. One is to just tear him apart because Priest Holmes was not the best running back of the century. The other is to go, well, wait a second. Why did you feel the need to make Priest Holmes there? What did you have against Adrian Peterson? What did you have against LaDainian Tomlinson? What did you have against Derrick Henry? What did you have against maybe even like a Chris Johnson? Like, what did you have against these guys? Because I'd put most of them over Priest Holmes. Well, Priest Holmes was at a time when running backs were king. Priest Holmes was at a time when you could have a player that darn good on the bench for Baltimore and go over to Kansas City and become the breakout star. When's the last time that happened? It used to happen all the time. Remember Michael Turner? He was playing for San Diego, backing up LaDainian Tomlinson, bounces on over to the Falcons, has a bunch of 1,000-yard seasons. Priest Holmes, same thing, right? Running backs used to mean more. History looks at those running backs better. I don't know if they should. But I do know to get to a championship, you're going to need a few people that are kind of unanimous. Julius Peppers is, and by the way, so is Luke Kuechly. They are... Like, I have to compliment him before I say you're wrong, people. Because, listen, Luke Kuechly is a linebacker. There are smart people that will disagree with that. There are people that know football that will disagree with that. But you know what they're going to do first? They're going to say, like, 3 compliments about Luke Kuechly. Listen, Luke Kuechly was a beast. His peak may be as good as anybody's. That Defensive Player of the Year season was unbelievable. He might be the smartest linebacker I've ever watched. But I think so-and-so was better due to longevity or whatever. Those guys, CMC, Peppers, and Kuechly, you want to make a Super Bowl, you need 2 or 3 of those guys. And that's also why you don't trade away Christian McCaffrey and don't even get a first-round pick back. But that's a complete other situation. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, the 3 quarterbacks, Brady, Manning, not Rodgers. Brady, Manning, Mahomes. Rodgers was coming off the bench.
I think that's fair, given those 3.
4 MVPs, a lot of MVPs. Rodgers pretty darn good. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I did not hit on any of my first goal scorer predictions yesterday, although someone on Twitter thinks I did. Shout out to them. Wrong Sam. I picked Sam Bennett. Sam Reinhart scored the first goal, and somebody on Twitter was like, Tim, hit the first goal scorer prediction. I didn't correct them. I let them live in that glory for a second. But we will get back to a ladder challenge, and I will try again to defeat Max coming up next.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. You maxed out on credit cards? Maybe you're struggling with high interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client recently got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, here's the thing. Your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I know the hurricane season came to an end. Another year with a loss to Florida in the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 of the last 3. But it's been a great year, and it's going to be a great summer with all that cap room the Hurricanes have. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, from free agency to trades to the draft. We'll have player interviews, special sit-down with Rod Brindamore that he doesn't even know about yet. He'll do it, don't worry. Just stay tuned to the Canes Corner podcast on YouTube. Search Canes Corner and wherever you get your podcast.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So I had the right first name on one of my first goal scorer predictions yesterday. Matter of fact, I meant Reinhart. I said Bennett, but that was like a typo, like a vocal typo.
Freudian slip.
I really meant Reinhart. It was a nice goal by Reinhart, by the way. I assume you got at least one bet correct, Max?
Nope.
No. So we tied.
What, it finished 5-1, right? So if they had scored one more goal.
All right.
So we both tied because we both went over 3.
That was much too big of a celebration for double offers. But goodness gracious, that is a horrendous betting performance from us. I will say mine were a bit longer shots, so maybe it's a bit more acceptable. But with any ladder challenge comes the next day another ladder challenge. Until Dennis comes back, we're going to keep doing these little 1-1-1-1-1 deals. 3 $10 bets. Whoever makes the most money by tomorrow ends up being the winner. As we said, neither of us got any right yesterday, so we'll skins it, right? It rolls over to the next. This one's worth 2. Max, your first $10 bet. Go ahead and lead us off.
I'm going a little bit off the board here.
There's not many sporting events going on tonight.
Yeah. So I think a lot of these might be. This first one, we were watching. So actually, in our basement at home, we have like a 5 TV setup.
Oh, look at you.
We got the big main screen in the middle that had Stanley Cup, and then whatever other kind of tertiary sporting events we'll have on the side. And we had the WNBA Commissioner's Cup. It was the Fever and the Connecticut Sun.
You saw the dramatics.
Yes.
Why is everyone pushing Caitlin Clark?
Yeah, I don't know. And we'll get to that and hit it and quit it here in just a few minutes. But oddly enough, I was looking at the schedule here, and the Connecticut Sun are playing on back-to-back days.
Okay.
Which I did not realize they did. I don't know if that's a common thing in the WNBA or it's just because they had that Commissioner's Cup like in-season tournament going on. But they're playing back-to-back. They're playing the Phoenix Mercury, who are 8-4. Sun are 2-9, coming off an emotional loss last night. I'm going to take the Phoenix Mercury minus 14.5 points tonight.
You're never going to believe this. I also have a bet from the Connecticut Sun Phoenix Mercury game. Tina Charles, 15 or more points plus rebounds. 25 or more points plus rebounds for the Connecticut Sun versus the Phoenix Mercury. It's plus 125. I have to be honest, don't watch a ton of WNBA. I pay a modicum of attention against kind of everybody just puts it in my chat when it's Caitlin Clark. But I do remember Tina Charles. Tina Charles was the number 1 pick when I was like a sophomore in college at a UConn. She's still out there cooking. Her number's like 25 plus points plus rebounds as a number. That's legit. Keep me feeling young, Tina. Go make it happen. Plus 125 for the Connecticut Sun versus the Phoenix Mercury. Turn my $10 into $22.50.
Perhaps a little bit of fatigue, but we'll see. We'll see.
Nah, not for Tina Charles.
I suppose not.
She's a workhorse. She's been doing this a long time. She knows what it's like.
All right, so I will go to the Diamond now. There was some dramatics with the Dodgers and the Padres. Ohtani got beaned.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, they were going back and forth. Dave Roberts had some comments about it, but I think he is going to bounce back the best way he knows by hitting dingers. So I'm going to go with Ohtani to hit a home run tonight, plus 176.
I have a Major League Baseball bet as well. I'm taking the Mariners, and I'm teasing the line to minus 1.5 over the Red Sox. The 1-game bump is over. They traded Devers the next game they won, and everyone was like, oh, look at this momentum. Oh, they don't need Devers. Then the next game they got beat 8-0. They traded their best player. That's going to sap some energy for a while, right? They're going to be confused. Why did we do this? He was one of our guys. He's $300+ million remaining on his contract. With the tease, so they have to win by obviously at least 2. Plus 212 turns my $10 into $31.20. So I wanted a little bit bigger payout there. I think the Mariners will get the win. Mariners aren't great, but I think the Red Sox are a head case right now. So Mariners get the win by at least a couple.
Yes, as we know, I'm a Red Sox fan, and I went with them in the ladder challenge yesterday, which was part of the reason why I went over for 3. But Crochet is also on the mound for the Red Sox tonight, so we'll see. It could be a tough task for the Mariners. Both teams with good pitching. Keeping it in baseball, last pick, I'm going to go with Pete Alonso to hit a home run, plus 420.
Hey.
Mostly just because my friend who used to be my roommate is his cousin.
Oh. So I'm a Mets fan, so let's go Polar Bear.
Cousin Pete, plus 420.
Cousin Pete. That's not a real person. Cousin Pete? Sounds like a character. My last one in the College Baseball World Series, by the way, Coastal's up 8-2, top of the 6th over Louisville. I am looking at LSU money line over Arkansas tonight. It's minus 110. Everyone kind of tracked that Arkansas's last game, the no-hitter versus Murray. I'm betting on a letdown after that one. That emotion is so high and everybody was wound so tight that, they'll give up a hit in the first inning and all of a sudden everyone will be like, uh-oh. So it's kind of betting on the emotions again. But give me LSU money line over Arkansas minus 110. Turns my 10 into 1909 if it wins. Those are the 3 bets. We'll see who has the most come tomorrow, and obviously that person will be the winner. There you go. That is Ladder Challenge. We did awful yesterday. Hopefully we do better for you today. Let's quickly move on to a little hit and quit it.
I want you to hit it.
All right, once again, it feels like every time Max is on the show during Hit It and Quit It, I have one that I'm going to start it with, then we can turn it over to you. Because this is kind of breaking news. Corey Smith, friend of the show, the editor over at Pack Pride, tweeted out, let's see here, 10 minutes ago, that NC State has landed, we're talking NC State basketball, has landed a commitment from Wyoming transfer center Scotty Ebube. Apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. I don't know. It's my first time seeing the name. Out of the transfer portal, 6'10", 275-pound center, averaged 5 points and 2.5 rebounds for Wyoming last year. It is obviously, my first reaction is that is obviously a depth piece. But my next reaction is 6'10". They needed big guys, right? The NC State transfer portal that everybody is so excited about, they went and got a whole bunch of wings. Whole bunch of point guards, a lot of guys on the perimeter that are very, very good. Like that's where their sizzle is going to come from. But you also you need the big boys down low, particularly on defense. Mbaya is one of those. Obviously, Van Allen Lubin is a little undersized, but can play bigger than his size down low. This is a guy 6'10", 275. At the very least, he's 5 fouls down low and he's not getting pushed around. 5 points, 2.5 or 2.7 rebounds. Again, he's not going to light it up, but based on what I'm reading here from Corey Smith, appears good around the bucket offensively, shoots darn near 70% from the floor, but doesn't venture too far away from the basket. That's about all I got for that one. Let's quit that, and now Max can take it over. Let's hit this.
All right, so obviously we led with it today. Big story. Panthers, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, beating the Oilers last night in 6 games. There's a couple different ways we want to approach this. One, what kind of potential do they have to kind of be a modern-day dynasty, having won 2 cups in 3 years and been to the final in each of the last 3 years?
Dynasty that's tough. I think 3. 3 with the same core. 3 championships with the same core is a dynasty. 2 is a nice run. Let me try to think about this. I don't believe the Miami Heat with LeBron were a dynasty. I believe the Warriors were a dynasty. That's just kind of a belief. So if they get one more with the same core, doesn't have to be next year. I think that then it becomes a dynasty. Other than that, they're just a really good team that had their moment. That's what I'm rolling with.
Just a classic wagon. There's a couple little nuggets I wanted to touch on as well. One, right. I was thinking about the butterfly effect, and I actually saw someone tweet it out as well. How different would things be at the end of Game 5, Round 1, 2023? The record-setting Bruins, who set the record for most regular season points, best regular season, they were up 3-1 in the series against Florida at home. Brad Marchand had a breakaway as time expired that Bobrovsky sent aside with a pad, and it just makes you wonder how different things could be if he had scored there. The Bruins win in 5. Are things different now? Do these teams maybe approach constructing their roster differently? Would it just be the same anyway? I guess there's no way to really know, but it is an interesting thought exercise, how one goal on one breakaway as time expired there could have changed a lot of things. As we know, Panthers went on to win that series, go to the Stanley Cup final, lost to Vegas in 23, and then went back-to-back these last 2 years. But
there's a lot of Boston fans that have been teased less by their friends and family if that happens. It's an interesting one. Because it was a first-round series, it's almost like I don't know if much changes if Boston goes and just loses in the next round. But if you tell me that was their escape, kind of like the Panthers this year with Toronto, where they escaped that one and then rolled. If you told me that was kind of how it happened, then all right. If Boston wins in 2023, a whole bunch has changed. If they win that series, I don't know how much has changed. But I don't like thinking about all these what if these other teams won scenarios. What if the Canes won in 2023? How about that? Think about that one.
Potentially could have happened if Brad Marchand had scored there.
Oh, you think they would have had a better chance?
Their playoff record against Boston, well, apart from conference final in 2019. But
so what you're saying is if Marchand makes that shot, Canes have a cup.
I'm not ruling it out.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that one better. Let's quit that. Let's hit this. Unless is there another angle you want to hit on the
Let's do that hockey.
No. That was all I really wanted to touch on there. So let's move on here to WNBA. We talked about it a little bit with our ladder challenge picks, but it got pretty physical last night between the Fever and the Connecticut Sun in the Commissioner's Cup game. Fever went on to get, I believe, a pretty comfortable double-digit win to advance to the final of that tournament, but there's a lot of physical play. I believe in the first half it was Caitlin Clark basically got hard fouled and then body checked right after that, which resulted in technical fouls for Marina Mabry, who came in, knocked her over. Caitlin Clark herself got a technical foul. I'm not really sure for what. And then with about 40 seconds left in the game, well out of hand, Sophie Cunningham comes down and hard fouls. I believe it was J.C. Sheldon from the Connecticut Sun. Led to a huge scrum fight on the baseline. Ended up being like 10 or 15 minutes of reviews, which everybody loves. What's going on in the WNBA? It's just we were seeing these skirmishes. A lot of them are centered around Caitlin Clark as well. How are the referees? How can they respond? How can they kind of control this? And just what's your general reaction to seeing these kind of physical plays that keep popping up?
There's a few angles on this. One, we see this in the men's game all the time, and we don't make it out to be any social commentary. It's just one of your best players gets hit hard, you're going to have a role player hit back. It's the lay of the land. Whether you agree with it or not, it happens more often. The second thing is, I don't like Caitlin Clark getting people act like she's just a victim in this. She is really good at putting her palms to the sky, like, what are you doing? And then shoving, which is what she did here, right? There was physical play within the game, the contact, foul called. She puts on like this, why are you hitting me? Look, and then shoves, and then gets shoved back. It's knocked to the ground, and it accelerates. She knows she's a bit of an instigator. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I think she's an unbelievable player, but you got to call a spade a spade. And last one, we see this career arc in the men's game all the time where and the most famous of it is Michael Jordan. You have a young player that takes a lot of attention away from the older players. The older players don't like it. They get physical with the young player. And guess what that young player has to do in the offseason? A boatload of weightlifting. And you come back the next year bigger and ready to deliver some punishment as much as you accept, right? You could argue, and I'm not saying she's Jordan, although some would. I'm not saying she's Michael Jordan, but you could say she's in her like get beat up by the Pistons era. And one of these off seasons, she's going to find a trainer. She's going to start like military pressing more. Her shoulders are going to start looking like Dwight Howard's. And then the next year, she's going to come back, and it's not going to be, oh, you're going to push around little Caitlin Clark. It's going to be Caitlin Clark's putting this shoulder in your chest and going to the bucket. So that's, you can solve it a bunch of different ways. Either you're going to have a bunch of these skirmishes because everybody else has to fight your fights, or you get better at playing physical basketball and deliver some punishment as much as you accept it. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
So there was big breaking news on Sunday, this past weekend. Boston Red Sox traded Rafael Devers to the San Francisco Giants. There had been months of, turmoil back and forth about where he was going to play. Originally, he was a third baseman. Then they told him he was going to DH, and he wanted to play third base still. And then they said, no, we're going to get Alex Bregman. And then Tristan Casas, their first baseman, got hurt, and they asked him to play first base. And he said, well, you told me to put my glove away, so I'm not going to play first base. And then he said, oh, I would play first base if you say I'm staying there long term. And they were like, we don't want to do that. So it was a whole back and forth. Ended up him getting traded kind of out of nowhere to the Giants on Sunday after they had just swept the Yankees. And the quotes are already starting to come out here. The Giants, Rafael Devers basically saying, I'll play wherever they want me to. Everything else is in the past now. I'm looking ahead and focusing on what I have here being a San Francisco Giant. I'm eager to go out there and play and see what I can do. I'm here to play wherever they want me to play. As a Red Sox fan, I'm not sure how I feel about all of it. I think that the team definitely mismanaged it a bit at the same time. When you're counted on as a franchise leader, you kind of expect that person to be able to kind of help the team wherever you want. So I'm conflicted on it. What's your reaction to seeing just kind of how that's all played out and his comments now with his new team?
Again, a lot of different ways to look at this. I agree that if I were paid the amount of money that Rafael Devers is being paid, you could tell me to play, serve hot dogs in the bleachers. And I'd be like, if that's what's best for the team, you do it. I also understand that franchise players do come with an ego, and they do traditionally like, hey, I'm a franchise player. If I want to play third base, I'm playing third base, right? You very rarely see, like, Jeter didn't move for A-Rod. You know what I mean? Like, Jeter was shortstop, and he was a franchise player, even though all the advanced analytics told us that A-Rod was a much better shortstop. There's that going on. The other thing I'd say is this. Right now, he's just trying to win the breakup, right? Oh, literally, if we use the relationship breakup as a thing, right? It's if somebody breaks up with you and they're like, you just, I like to be outdoors, you don't like to hike or camp, and then you break up, the first thing you do is take your next date on a hiking trip and you put it on Instagram, like, look at me enjoying this 2-day overnight hike to a waterfall. Like, you're trying to win the breakup right now. Eventually they'll settle into a rhythm in San Fran where he won't feel like he has to overcompensate with, I'll do whatever they need me to pitch. I'll go out there and be a lefty reliever. But also, like, Matt Chapman's on the Giants, and he makes $150-something million to play third base. So he's not going to be playing third base. He's going to be doing whatever they ask him to do, which there is difference. And, like, I say this all the time. When a franchise player moves teams, you have to remember you're not what you were at the previous spot, right? Like, if Kevin Durant gets traded to the Heat, he's not the Kevin Durant of OKC or the Kevin Durant of the Warriors, where they owe him or they give him the benefit of the doubt, right? OKC brought him to the finals. OKC, he was the franchise leading scorer. OKC did all of that. The Warriors, he was a 2-time finals MVP. If he had a slow stretch, they weren't going to be critical of him because, hey, you've already done so much for us. Devers did a lot for the Red Sox. There's a lot of production there, right? So they're probably even more accepting of his diva status because it's like, he's been pretty good for us. He hasn't done anything for the Giants yet. Maybe that's why he's going. I'll do whatever they want me to do because he understands he hasn't earned the right to be a diva there yet. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
Got him!
All right, so let's go over to the NBA. We've mentioned a little bit so far, but NBA draft a week away, next Wednesday. Hornets have the 4th pick. That's the kind of local relevance. But there could be some action ahead of them. There's been a little bit of debate about whether the Spurs or the Sixers might trade out of the top 3. They're not actively shopping the picks per reports, but they are listening to offers. There are a couple teams below them that have pick stockpile, Hornets included. They have 2 early second-round picks as well as that number 4 overall pick. It's kind of starts at 3 is kind of where the debate is as to who's going to go. It seems pretty consensus that number 2 is going to be Dylan Harper from Rutgers. Do you think we might see some action on draft day? Somebody moving up to get up in that top 3? I don't think so because of just, again, that's kind of no one knows.
A player on the same tier, same level. If the Spurs wanted to trade out of 2, which would be Dylan Harper, that kind of makes sense for the simple fact of there is some overlap there because the Spurs have Castle, right, who was Rookie of the Year. They obviously have Wembanyama. They now have De'Aaron Fox. They kind of have this core that they want to play, and if they don't see Harper fitting, Devin Vassell is the other name that I couldn't think of. Vassell, another player that kind of plays that wing spot. If they don't see him fitting, that trade could make sense because somebody would want to trade up specifically to 2 for Dylan Harper because he's on a tier of his own. I probably don't believe it yet because the Spurs are still in just acquire good pieces mode. It's not like they're ready to compete for a championship yet. But there's a possibility there. I don't think the Sixers are trading out. And if I'm the Hornets, I'm not worried about it, right? Like, have your 4 names just written in order on a Post-it note in front of you, and who cares what happens in front of you, right?
Take whoever the best one is that's left.
You need everything. If you have Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe, Con Knipple, or Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Con Knipple, VJ Edgecombe. Like, if that's your 4, just have them written in whatever order you like right in front of you and go do whatever you want in front of me. Trade it, don't trade it, do whatever you want. We're just going to follow our board. That's the simplest way I can handle it for the Hornets.
Trey Johnson being kind of mocked in this range as well. There's also some Malawatch as well. There's a couple of players.
At times, Jeremiah Fears has gotten up that high.
Yes. And league sources saying it's New Orleans and Brooklyn who have 7 and 8 who have reached out about potentially moving up. I will say from this same article, a bit of an interesting tidbit. This is from Kevin O'Connor at Yahoo Sports. He has Cedric Coward, who had originally intended to transfer.
He's not in the Brotherhood. He's like a cousin.
No, yeah, he attempted to transfer and then
did really, really well at the NBA Combine, and everyone went, "You're not going to Duke, buddy. You're going to be a mid-first."
Got the good buzz. So apparently the intel is kind of all over the place on him. Kevin O'Connor actually has him at number 8 on his big board. I don't think he will go that high in the draft, but he definitely seems high on him, and it does seem that there is some potential like mid-first round like lottery intel on Cedric Coward as well. So definitely can't blame him for going his spot to go to the draft.
The Nets have 4 first-round picks. I don't even know if they have, like, what do you do with 4 first-rounders, right? Are you European drafting stash? Are you putting one, like, your whole starting lineup can't be first. Like, there's I don't know. So if they trade up, I wouldn't be surprised. They have 8, 19, 26, and 27. That's a lot of draft capital, and the 6th pick of the second round. So that's, 5 of the first 38 picks? That's a boatload. I wouldn't be surprised even if they're just trading like a first rounder this year for a first rounder next year. They're just trying to spread them out. Might be a thing there. All right, we have time for one more. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
What? All right, one more. Let's go. This is a pretty good story, although based on what's going on right now in this College World Series game, it might not be as heartwarming of a story. Louisville's Tanner Shiver.
Louisville baseball player? Tanner Shiver?
Yes. He's a utility player for Louisville. They're in the College World Series right now. They're actually playing Coastal Carolina. They're down 8-3. But he is getting married in Omaha on Friday.
Friday?
Yes, this Friday. While his team is in the College World Series. They may not be in by then, depending on the results of this game. But Tanner Shiver, everything is booked late Friday afternoon. He'll be marrying his fiancée, Kaylin Farmer, in Omaha.
So is he betting that they're going to be eliminated by then? Is this like...
Does it not kind of seem like that?
That's a weird move, because I don't think you'd want to have like all your buddies at a wedding like between College World Series games.
It is an off day on Friday, no matter what, so...
I guess that would be a low-key wedding. You got to be off your feet, right? You got to be ready to play soon. Fun fact about wedding planning. As people on this show know, my cousin is Mike Glennon, who played at NC State. He was in my wedding, one of my groomsmen. He was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when I got married. And my wife wanted a winter wedding. And I literally made her push it back a week, maybe 2 weeks longer than she wanted to, because I wanted it to be after the Super Bowl, just in case Mike was playing in the Super Bowl, and I want to show confidence in my guy. I believe they ended up with the number 1 pick that year. Literally, they finished dead last in the NFL. But I showed the confidence, going like, no, I want Mike there. I want his family there, and if they're in the Super Bowl, he wouldn't be able to make it. So, maybe I have a little bit more confidence, blind confidence,
right,
delusional confidence than this Louisville guy.
I misspoke. The wedding is not in Omaha; it's in Louisville. But because it's an off day, he would, if they were still in, fly back, get married, and then fly back to Omaha for the final series.
So I would assume no teammates on the dance floor.
Probably not. I don't know what that says about your relationship with your teammates, and you probably have to put off your honeymoon there. But it's very interesting. It's definitely an important week for him, but he may not have to worry too much about the travel plans right now, given.
Yeah, maybe his buddies are doing him a solid. Like, hey, man, we want you to start married life without having to rush.
And there's another RBI single, and it's 9-3. So
we'll just get eliminated here, and you can go get married.
I wonder if there's any inkling of relief from him. He's like, okay, I don't have to worry about flying back the day after my wedding.
His fiancée has to be kind of rooting against him, right? It's a weird decision. That one's strange. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is Hit It and Quit It here on The Drive. We'll take a quick break, but Hubert Davis is coaching Team USA. U19 at training camp. How good is that for UNC? Very. I'll tell you why next.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. It's that time of year, folks. I love getting back out on the motorcycle. I love enjoying the open road, especially when it's nice outside. But I have to make sure, before I even get on the motorcycle, that everything is where it needs to be. Is my bike in proper working order? Is the tire pressure where it needs to be? Have I cleaned my bike recently? Believe it or not, cleaning your motorcycle is one of the best things you can do before you even get on the road to make sure there's no gunk buildup in your engine and your brakes. Make sure you take care of your bike because your bike will take care of you. But if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, make sure you call Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you contact your insurance company. Insurance companies, they want to give you the least amount possible. Law Tigers, they're riders too. They know what your bike is worth. They know what your gear is worth. They know what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and they don't get paid until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are so difficult. I don't want to take away anything from any other sport, but having covered hockey, the mental, physical, emotional toll it takes, it is so rigorous. To be able to get there 3 years in a row and win 2 is remarkable. Make no mistake about it, this is a dynasty and they're not going anywhere.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Progressive knows owning a home can be hard, but not always. Like when you're relaxing on your patio, enjoying a nice, quiet evening. So quiet. Except for the sound of the neighbor's party. Which you said you'd go to if you weren't busy. And your quiet night on the patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payoff via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
This hour of The Drive brought to you by Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School is calling shooters of all levels for Mission Unstoppable. Stop the clay invasion and shoot them damn things down. Learn more at deepriversportingclays.com.
Into the hands of Cadeau. Tar Heels on the run. Trimble to the cup, layup, counted in the foul. Carolina can get within 6 if Trimble can hit the freebie.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Hubert Davis, head coach UNC men's basketball, is a training camp coach. He is helping with Team USA U19 training camp, which has been going on the past few days. I love this move, more so than I probably should, for Hubert Davis. Now, Hubert Davis spoke with 247 Sports about the opportunity, and he played it very traditional. Right, I have a quote from him right here. Anytime you're able to serve your country in this capacity and serve this national team is something that you would never want to pass up. I played USA basketball when I was in college, and having an opportunity to do so as a coach, as one of the coaches, was something that I was really excited about. That's great, and it's true. It is, right? Like, I talk often about how cool it must be to be in an Olympics or a World Championships or a Four Nations Cup, something where you get to put your country on your chest, on your jersey, and that's got to be an awesome deal. So being able to help with Team USA, I'm sure there is some sense of duty that is being satisfied, and there's some sense of service that is being taken care of. I get that. But also, there are selfish elements to things like this. Mark Pope, the Kentucky coach, is also helping out at training camp, and they've talked about how there's a couple Kentucky players that are recruits that are vying to be on the U19 team, and they're like, you know what? It is kind of awesome that we get to work with our coach on a basketball court when pretty much no one else is allowed to. So there is that going on. Hubert Davis should be clamoring. He should be asking. He should be volunteering. I'll pay my own way to be as involved with Team USA as possible, because it is a good way to combat one of the biggest criticisms of UNC basketball as a program under Hubert Davis. Right? The biggest criticism that I hear, outside of the not making the NCAA tournament or being eliminated early, or like the winning, right? That is what it is, right? You got to solve that by winning. But the other criticism I hear a lot of is they don't help guys build their NBA profile. Right? Ian Jackson showed up as a potential first-round pick, and now he's leaving in the transfer portal to St. John. Drake Powell showed up as a 5-star. Now he's a borderline first-round pick. Guys like Armando Bacot, guys like R.J. Davis can't really even get a shake at the NBA level after spending a billion years at UNC. The pipeline from UNC to the pros isn't as strong as it once was. Warranted or not, because there are certain parts Hubert Davis couldn't make R.J. Davis 3 inches taller, right? He couldn't give Armando Bacot the 6 more inches of vertical jump. Like, some of it's out of his hands. But Drake Powell at the Combine saying, there were things that I couldn't show at UNC that I think are still in my potential. Ian Jackson saying there are things I couldn't show while at UNC that I think will help build that. Like, those are quotes, right? You can go find them. But being involved with Team USA helps combat that a little bit. Building relationships with guys that are going to go on to be lottery picks helps combat that a little bit. I know UNC and Duke don't like being compared, but the best example of this is what Coach K did with Team USA on a bigger scale. Now, that's not being like an assistant training camp coach during U19 training camp, right? He was the head coach of Team USA for the Olympics, the men's national team, but it made Coach K and Duke a legit NBA pipeline in the one-and-done era. Remember that? There was a weird portion of time where every superstar in the NBA that skipped college and went straight to the pros, for some reason, was giving interviews saying they would have gone to Duke if they went to college. And there's almost like no history of that. You go back and look at who they were talking about in high school when they were making the decision to go pro. Like, a whole bunch of, like, they weren't in the final 10, but looking back, it was like, no, I would have gone to Duke. And it was just because Coach K had a relationship with him, and he was so respected, and it worked. Those friendships and relationships matter, right? Those stories matter. If I'm recruiting somebody, and I firmly believe, and I've said this on air a bunch of times, so hopefully at some point I'm going to have to stop when my son starts being able to understand it. I hope my son is 4.5 years old, something like that. I hope he ends up being a 5-star recruit in some form of sports. Not because I'm a helicopter parent and I'm going to drive him with. I'm not going to be that guy. But I am just so curious as to what coaches tell 5-star recruits. Like, I've never been that, right? I've never been in those rooms. I just want to hear the recruiting pitches. So I hope that he gets there if he wants to, right? Or somebody else. I hope a nephew, somebody that wants me in the room when the coaches are making the pitches, just because I want to hear him. But there's no doubt in my mind, if you have a relationship with NBA guys or lottery picks, you would use that. I have no doubt Coach K was, when he was recruiting Jason Tatum, was like, when I was coaching Kobe, because Jason Tatum was obsessed with Kobe, when I was coaching Kobe, this is what I used to tell him at Team USA practice, and I actually think I'm going to be telling you the same thing when we get to practice in Durham. Oh, well, that's a good name drop, right? So let's say one of these U19 players goes on and becomes a lottery pick. If Hubert Davis is recruiting someone next, you're going to go, when I was with Team USA and I was coaching the XYZ third pick in the draft, I saw a lot of his similarities in your game, and I think we can do some of the same things we did with him to unlock your long-distance shooting. It's a good name drop. It's almost being able to, co-opt other people's success. That way, UNC doesn't even have to put somebody in the lottery because you worked with someone for Team USA that went to the lottery. Right, because Duke did have a lot of success sending guys to the pros prior to Coach K being Team USA's coach. Don't get me wrong. But the one-and-done era really wasn't their thing until that all happened, and then obviously they ended up winning a championship with mostly one-and-dones, the Jahlil Okafor year. Hubert Davis can use some of that. Right? Oh, UNC isn't putting a lot in, but I am. It changes things. It does. Perception is reality in a lot of ways in recruiting, right? If everyone is saying that guy can't develop pros, that guy can't develop NBA players, whether it's true or not, right? You may have gotten, like I said, RJ Davis is an unbelievable player, ACC Player of the Year. He'll be in Hall of Fame, so his number will go in rafters, all those sorts of things. But his NBA prospects were always going to be an uphill challenge just based on the physical profile he has, the height, shooting ability. His shooting ability was unreal, but the height, speed, leaping ability, that was going to make it a long shot. But now because he's not in the NBA, Hubert Davis has to answer for that. And when people question it, you better have an answer. Part of his answer could be, yeah, but I also worked with Team USA. Like I said, he should be volunteering. Every coach, if I were an athletic director, I would be asking my coach once a year, all right, what have you done to get involved with our national team? What have you offered? What have you volunteered for? What camps are you running? How are you going to get involved in our national team? Because it just raises your profile being associated with the best of the best. Not to mention that AAU is a very small world. College recruiting is a very small world. If a guy really likes you at U19 training camp, you take an interest in them and they really value it, they'll turn around and tell their buddy who plays for their AAU or years later when they build their own AAU team like the Durant All-Stars or the CP3 whatevers, they'll be comfortable sending their players to you. It's a small world. Get to know them. And Hubert knows all this. He's been in the NBA for a long time. He's been in college for a long time. He's been in the media for a long time. He's done everything in the NBA, or I should say basketball world, for a long time. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. As we transition, we'll have the starting five coming up in a second.
Oh, hold on.
We have breaking news? I have no idea what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just as on edge as you are.
Working to get the additional details, but I just saw it come across the screen here. The Buss family has agreed to sell the Lakers to Mark Walter.
Whoa!
The CEO of diversified holding company TWG Global.
Is there? Oh, hold on. All right, I'll read from Shamsharanya. The Buss family is entering an agreement to sell majority ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers to Mark Walter, the CEO and chairman of diversified holding company TWG Global. Sources tell ESPN Jeannie Buss will continue to serve in her role as governor after the sale. I can't imagine how much money that is going to be. Are the Lakers a $7 billion franchise? Secondly, I don't get how she can be the governor. By the way, the governor is, we just saw this happen with Jim Irsay, and he passed away, the owner of the Colts, and it went to, and it was inherited by his three daughters. They had to choose one to be like the representative, right? So when league votes happen, you go to the one. So being the governor is like being the owner. Allowing her to continue being the governor while buying the team is basically like letting her have her cake and eat it too. That's confusing to me.
Well, they're selling majority stake, so I assume they'll still have minority ownership.
But I've just never met anybody to buy majority and then go like, but you can still make decisions. There was a similar, and I'm again, this is all reaction and live. There was similar thoughts or similar conversations when Mark Cuban sold the Mavericks, that it was like, he's still going to control all basketball operations and be the face and everything. And then they traded Luka, and he was like, I had nothing to do with it. I don't actually have any say. Jeannie Buss selling the Lakers. Jerry Buss's family will not own the Los Angeles Lakers. Wow. There was an agreement in place earlier today for the Rays. Sportico reported that the Rays were being sold, Tampa Bay Rays. Consider your thunder stolen. The Rays being sold, not the same as the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll have to come back to this. We do have the starting five coming up. And I want to tell you all about Bailey's Fine Jewelry and specifically their Fox and Bailey watch shop. How about this? You want to mark an occasion like maybe you just sold a business for a whole bunch of money and you want to mark the occasion by taking some of that money and putting it on your wrist in an iconic watch. Fox and Bailey watch shop located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location in Raleigh is the place to do it. And guess what? There's something for every level of that. If you want to, hey, maybe you sold a sports franchise for billions, you could go grab a pre-owned or vintage Rolex for dozens of thousands of dollars. You could grab a Omega Speedmaster with the gold setting, the gold bracelet and everything else, and it could be $40,000 or $50,000. Maybe you sold a smaller business and you want to commemorate it in a different way. There's something like a Norcane, which is a newer watch brand that's making really cool stuff. Something like a Hamilton that could be even further down on the affordability ranks, but still puts out really cool, really well-made watches. There's the Glashütte Original. There's so many. Really cool, right? The whole, like, you get a timepiece, not just to tell the time, but also to mark the time, right? Also to mark something that happens. So something like selling a business, something like retirement, something like graduation. They have something for every milestone at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, specifically the Fox and Bailey watch shop located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. Let them know when you stop in that you heard about it from me, Tim, on 99.9 The Fan. We have the starting five coming up next, and we will dive further into the Lakers being sold. Stick around.
Champions are crowned in June. The Stanley Cup Finals.
Reinhart scores! What a play! Sam Reinhart makes it 1-0 Florida. Tkachuk scores! Matthew Tkachuk with under a minute to go in the first period. Reinhart hits the empty net from the blue line and let the party begin in Sunrise.
The NBA Finals and the College World Series. Your home for championship action all month long. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
NASCAR Prime is gearing up for the Tricky Triangle at Pocono.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
After 5 decades of racing tradition, it's clear that strategy is king at Pocono.
Finally, some separation between first, second, and third.
3 legendary turns, 3 unique approaches.
Wow, that's close.
Who will tame the triangle this year? Don't miss the Cup Series at Pocono, streaming Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR, it's on Prime.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime. And Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Yes.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Duralee Road. Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back. That one going. Gone.
Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. Hopefully you have a way to stay cool. It is hot out there today. Overnight tonight, it stays warm. Partly cloudy with a low of 77. We have a WRAL weather alert day Thursday. We'll have some pretty high heat, 95 for the high, and then storms will arrive late in the afternoon into the evening hours.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money at the closing bell. Dow Jones down 44 points to 42,171.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. All right, everybody. The starting five today is brought to you by Ritchie Law. Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com. That's RICCI law.com. I did not see this one coming. Let's get into the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So, we broke the news before the break. Shams Charania, I believe, had it first. The Buss family, obviously the descendants of Jerry Buss, the legendary owner of the Lakers. The Buss family has entered into an agreement to sell majority ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers to Mark Walter, the CEO of diversified holding company TWG Global. Sources told ESPN. Walter, I believe, is the majority owner, and TWG Global, the majority owner of the Dodgers. So they are building a massive sports entity in the Hollywood area of California. I am flabbergasted by this. And I think it might be, did you watch Winning Time on HBO?
I did not.
Okay, so Winning Time on HBO, it was a dramatic retelling of the Showtime Lakers that focused mostly on Jerry Buss. To be honest, Magic was involved, Larry Bird was involved, Kareem Abdul. I thought it was a really good series. It made it 2 seasons and was canceled. But it showed, and Jerry Buss was played by John C. Reilly, who's underrated as heck as an actor. It showed how much that franchise meant to Jerry Buss. And it is absurd that the Buss family won't be owning the Los Angeles Lakers. It's actually, call me old school, call me an old man yelling at clouds. I'll accept all the barbs. I kind of like it when teams are family owned. I kind of like it when the Buss family owns it, not TWG Global. When you don't, like, and the values are so high now that there's never going to be like a guy that, you know, made some money in real estate and wants to sell an apartment building and buy a Lakers, right? That's how it used to be. Or if you go back even further, I mean, there are NFL teams that were bought for like $500. Like that's never going to happen again. So every time one of these are sold, it has to be to either like a holding company or to somebody that started a tech business and the startup went crazy and all of those things went kind of nuts. There's really, man, it's a bummer. The Buss family's not going to own the Lakers. By the way, the article is up now. The Lakers have been owned by the Buss family since 1979. When Jerry Buss purchased the franchise from Jack Kent Cooke. Jack Kent Cooke owned the Washington Redskins for a while. He was kind of a mover and a shaker in the sports world. He bought the franchise for $67.5 million. According to Forbes, as it stands right now, we don't know the purchase price of the Lakers. According to Forbes, the Lakers are worth $7.1 billion. $7.1 billion out of a little under $70 million. And I assume that the number's actually higher than that because that's like what they're worth on paper when you look at, right? Forbes is probably doing some kind of equation based on revenue and everything else. There's only so many professional sports franchises, and when one becomes available, the price almost always shocks us. It might be a $10 billion sale. Not to mention that I'm sure the Lakers are just printing money. Right? Do we think they're not able to sell or fill up crypto arena or whatever? They got LeBron James and Luka Doncic. I think they could sell out. I'm disappointed by this, in case you can't tell. And I'm not a Lakers fan at all. I just think the Maras owning the Giants. I think that's good. I don't care about the Giants. I don't even know if they're good owners. But I think their family being intertwined, like it's cool. The Busses and the Lakers. It's just cool. Your thoughts, Max? Anything that I'm missing? This is obviously all kind of just happened within the last 20 minutes, so it's am I missing something here?
No, it's pretty late breaking news. The part of it where Jeannie Buss is going to remain the governor is very interesting to me because if you're buying like a controlling stake in a team, why would you not want yourself or someone that you're bringing in to be in the lead? Unless you trust their judgment, I mean, fair enough. But and at the end of the day, any sports team is usually a pretty safe investment. Like if the value is going to go up no matter what. So it's just an interesting wrinkle in it to me.
The Lakers are definitely going up in value. The Lakers, like there's only a few franchises that I think, like right now the highest valued team in the NBA, according to Forbes, is the Warriors. I do think the Warriors, big new arena, super rich area, Silicon Valley, but also they've been good for a while. There are a couple franchises in sports that I believe, even if they stunk for like 10 straight years, would still be in primetime games, would still be super valuable. The Lakers are one of them. The Cowboys are another. Like as somebody that will never own a franchise, once I do, I ain't selling. And if my family sells after I pass, haunting is happening. Like we're just print money. Just print money. That's all you got to do. You don't want to run the day-to-day, hire somebody. There's enough money there. Although Mark Cuban he said part of the reason he sold the Mavericks is because he didn't want the pressure on his kids to have to take over and be invested. So maybe there's something to be said for like Jerry Buss passed away, left it to his kids, and his kids were like, there's a lot of pressure. We don't want all this. So maybe I'm being too harsh on him. But sell it to, I don't know. There's no right answer here. That's number 5. Let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
To the right, lob it back to the baseline for Cooper. 2 defenders crash at him. Up top, Conn will launch and hit a 3.
All right, well, this was supposed to be talking about the draft a week from today. We're going to push that because Shams Charania, just put a number on the Lakers.
Can I hit the sounder again?
Sure. I even said this number a few seconds ago, but now it being confirmed still puts my jaw on the ground. Shams Charania, ESPN NBA insider, Mark Walters is entering an agreement to purchase majority ownership of the Lakers from the Buss family for a valuation of approximately $10 billion. The largest sale of a professional sports franchise in the world, sources tell ESPN. And then he says it one more time just for emphasis. $10 billion. Are they selling to Dr. Evil? $10 billion? Now I get it. Why are the buses selling? Oh, $10 billion. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Do you know how I'd work into the deal? Just because I just read an article about Spielberg. Spielberg somehow, when he was at the height of his directing charm, worked a deal with Universal where he gets 2% of every ticket to Universal Parks. And now he's just cashing like $100 million a year off of Universal Parks money because he once directed Jurassic Park. I don't know. I'd be like, I'll sell it to you for $10 billion. I want like $2 billion of every jersey, or 2% of every jersey sold from now until forever, just so you still got some income coming. I mean, what's going to happen when you spend the first $10 billion? You need more income coming in. $10 billion for the Lakers. Billion. Remember when it was absurd that the Carolina Panthers were sold for a little over $2 billion? Remember when it was ridiculous that Steve Ballmer bought the Clippers? I think it was a little over $2 billion. Now they're being sold for 10. Now, obviously, the Panthers and the Clippers aren't the Lakers, but are they 5 times as valuable? Sheesh. What must it be like to be in those negotiation rooms? I mean, there's only one time in my life where I've ever been in like a negotiation where a number came over slightly better than I wanted to. I've owned a few houses with my wife over the years, and in one of them, like we made it like for us, it was a good amount of money selling it. And when that number came across, it was like fist pumps and like high fives in the kitchen when the realtor told us. Can you imagine if you're the Buss family and you're like, well, what is your offer? And your lawyers come back with, well, they've offered $10 billion.
No, well, they just started with $8 billion, and that wasn't enough. So we countered with 12, and then we settled on 10.
Gosh, the amount of like stress sores that I would have from those kind of negotiations. 10. I'm just gonna say it like 30 more times so everybody can register. $10 billion. Billion with a B. Congratulations, Buss family. Jerks. What number was that? I don't even know. That was number 4. Let's hit number 3. Quick update on the College Baseball World Series. Goodness gracious, if the College Baseball World Series doesn't feel minuscule compared to a $10 billion purchase. Hey, they're playing baseball in Omaha. Feels like Little League, $10 billion. Coastal Carolina, riding a 25-game win streak, leads Louisville 10-3, middle of the 8th inning as it sits right now. This is an elimination game for Louisville, I believe. So if Coastal wins, Louisville dunzo. If I'm reading the bracket correctly. Do you know what's crazy about the game going on right now? The Coastal Louisville game. Coastal has 10 hits. Louisville has 9. The score is 10-3. Baseball's a funny sport. Obviously, there's got to be walks. But actually, Coastal has more errors. Coastal has an error. Louisville has none. So, well-timed hits. That's all it comes down to. What are you doing with runners in scoring position? Coastal apparently living a charmed life as we speak right now. Did you hear the Lakers were sold for $10 billion today? An evaluation of $10 billion. We don't know how much they're actually purchasing. Majority stake at an valuation of $10 billion. Sheesh. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. Burns is shot out in front. Oh, scores on the power play. Carolina has even this game at 1. A huge power play goal right when they needed it.
Logan Stankoven. Do you know what's like? So Logan Stankoven, part of the second Miko trade for the Canes, came from Dallas to the Canes, played exceptional in the postseason. At times was the bright spot in a really gray cloud for the Canes. Scored a couple really must-needed score goals. He's just a really good, scrappy's the wrong word. He's just a good player, right? I think, the jokes of like any Caucasian point guard. Well, he plays like a coach's son. He's scrappy. He's a gym rat. He's a high IQ player. Oh, look at him. Or a white wide receiver, right? He's deceptively fast, but he gets to where he's supposed to go. Like all that stuff. Even if it's not race, I think size also. It's like if you're 5'8" or shorter, it's like he's scrappy. Like no, Logan Stankoven is not scrappy. He's just a good player. And he happens to be like 5'6" or whatever height he is. So take all that back and just say he's a good player. He is eligible for a long-term extension this offseason. He's under contract for at least another year with the Canes. So if you don't reach an agreement, you have more time to get it done. But as I said earlier, I don't think he's ever going to be cheaper than he is right now. So the Canes should do what they can to make it happen and give him the stability, right? Because what I just said is not a secret, right? If he plays really well next year and plays top 6 forward minutes and scores some goals and does some things, his price will be up. So why would Stankoven and his representatives, his agents, agree on a long-term deal now? It's the stability, right? Because they're also taking the risk that he skates out there and in the first week he blows out his knee and then everything changes, right? So the Canes should offer him that stability. I would offer him a long-term deal. Something that's going to age well, right? I don't even know what the exact number would be. 6 mil? Are we okay with 5?
Are you talking about over 8 years or just long-term, like vaguely like anything over 5 years?
Yeah, vaguely anything over 5.
I think a good number, like we just saw Dallas, for example, and Wyatt Johnston's had a little bit more production, but he just signed a 5-year, $8.5 million. For someone at Logan Stankoven's production, but considering his potential, next year could maybe be like a 20, 30 goal scorer type of guy. I think I'd like to see maybe like a 5 by 6 million,
yeah.
5 by 7 million.
I'm fine with that entirely. And then that's just another kind of check off the to-do list towards building your full roster, right? You want 12 really good forwards. 13 if he can make it happen, but really good. He is a really good forward. If he's skating on your third line, how good must your first two be? That kind of deal is the way I think about it. And he's open to it, which I think is important. Let's just play the clip here. Who is he talking to again? I don't have it here in my notes.
It's 6:10 a.m. Radio NL Kamloops.
So he told that station that he'd love to sign long-term and can actually start talking about it with the team July 1st.
Yeah, personally, I'd love to. I think it seems like the team likes to sign, the younger guys to longer-term deals, and that would be great for me. That'd be a dream come true to sign a deal like that. But I guess we'll just wait and see for now until I guess July 1st is when they can kind of start talking to me about a new deal and an extension. So. We'll wait until then and see what happens.
If he's open to it, you make that call quick. You make that call quick. Up to this point, and this is not like, hey, the Lakers just sold for $10 billion valuation. So, sports money is not our money. Up to this point, Logan Stankoven has made only $2.9 million. The contract that Max just suggested, $6 million over 5 years, is waiving $30 million, 10 times, fully guaranteed, what he's made in his career, a little more than, in front of his face. That's the kind of thing that I think gets deals done, right? Like, hey, if everything goes haywire, you walk out of your career with $33 million in earnings. That's tough to turn down.
And I think the likelihood of a 5-year contract like that, more likely is he grows into his potential, and at that point he's, 27 or 28, and he's an unrestricted free agent, and he makes a lot of money. So
he would be 22 next year. So then a 5-year deal, he'd be looking at 28, hitting the open market.
Yeah.
And then you can ask for your $8 million or 8-year. Who knows what the cap will be by that point? Then you can take that really big bite at the apple if you're consistently putting out 60, 70 points a year. You deserve what you get at that point.
I threw that 5-year contract out there, like in comparison with Wyatt Johnson, but I say that because I think that's kind of the term they'll end up settling on. Like he says he wants to sign long term, and obviously the team would probably like to lock him up at that low number for as long as possible. But if I'm the agent, I'm like, let's do like 4, 5, 6 years, kind of a bridge, and then you're right there at free agency in your prime, and you make a little more money.
That life-changing stability of $30 million.
So yeah,
and the possibility for your career to end up $230 million. Which, again, it wouldn't be that if he was looking for an 8-year contract now, but who knows where the cap will be and who knows what everything else would be. $130 million as a top end and $30 million as a bottom end is a really nice way to look at. Again, it's funny money to us because we're normal people, but once you are a everyday player in a professional sports league, you do start thinking in those funny money numbers. That's number 2. Let's hit number 1.
The one!
Yeah, Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup last night. Finished off the Edmonton Oilers. Wasn't even a super exciting game, which was kind of a bummer. There have been some really good games in that series, but last night was not amongst them. Paul Maurice in the handshake line. What the heck was that, Paul? Thought that was for the players. Oh, maybe you were just trying to big-time Rod Brindamore, huh? You know what? If I'm Rod, I'd take it as a compliment. Right? Oh, you're trying to you are you intimidated? Why are you being all weird acting around me? You're not weird acting around everybody else. What's going on here? Now, Paul Maurice obviously has a pretty good rebuttal in that they won the cup. But there's something weird there. And especially because there's so many players for the Panthers that at some point in time have spent time in the Carolina system. And obviously Paul Maurice spent time in the Carolina system, and there is that previous relationship with Rod Brindamore. It's just weird that after the Panthers-Kane series, he's like, oh, the players we shouldn't shake hands. Are you ready for my conspiracy theory?
Lay it on me.
I think Paul Maurice knows that a lot of his players like Rod more than him. And he saw at the end of the Devils series, Pesce giving and Nason giving the big hugs to Rod, and you could tell in their eyes that they were seeing like somebody they truly cared for. And I don't think, as much as the success is there, I don't think the Panthers feel that way about Maurice. They kind of respect him, and all right, he's helping us win cups. But I think they like Rod more, and he didn't want to see that. He just couldn't stand it. So they pulled some weird stuff, and he knows they don't care about Knobloch because who does with the Oilers, or with the Panthers looking towards the Oilers coach. So then they were able to go and do the whole thing. Is this me nitpicking and really being kind of a jerk because they won the cup and I wish it was the Canes? Maybe I'm lashing out here. Take that, Paul Maurice. Take your 2 cups and go ahead and put that wherever you want to. You're weird with the handshake lines. It's not the same, is it? Credit to Florida. They're good. I don't have to like it, but they're good. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's move on from talking about how good the Panthers are. Hopefully we won't have to do that all offseason. Let's get a big move. Can we get a trade in the NHL somewhere? Just some giant name switching teams so we can focus on that. Nice little shiny distraction from the Panthers winning the cup.
Big name putting on a Hurricanes jersey. Wouldn't hurt.
Wouldn't hurt at all. But I would settle for, someone else overpaying for a name. Just something, right? So we don't have to have our timelines bombarded with cup celebrations. Remember when the Caps won and it was just like every day there was a new drunk capital somewhere? Like I don't want that everywhere. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need some numbers game contestants. The prize for today is a $50 gift card to Apex Racing Lab, a $50 gift card. It goes a long way at Apex Racing Lab. It's a really cool place. Simulator racing, get to test. Really, to live out your dream of being a race car driver. If you want to play the numbers game and potentially win yourself the $50 gift card, call in right now. We need 2 contestants. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Numbers game coming up next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are so difficult. I don't want to take away anything from any other sport, but having covered hockey, the mental, physical, emotional toll it takes, it is so rigorous. To be able to get there 3 years in a row and win 2 is remarkable. Make no mistake about it, this is a dynasty and they're not going anywhere.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Soccer fans, the North Carolina Courage, the Triangle's premier women's pro soccer team, and First Horizon Stadium at Cary's Wake Med Soccer Park is the place to be, to believe, become, and belong. The North Carolina Courage, the Triangle's Division I pro women's soccer team, invites you to Pride Night on June 21st, presented by Cary Estate Planning. This season's match nights are packed with entertainment. Make First Horizon Stadium at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary and the North Carolina Courage your place to believe, become, and belong. Get tickets at nccourage.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
A torn ACL, stress fracture, aching back, a hip that's had it, life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. Our fellowship-trained orthopedists do it all. General, sports, pediatric, joint replacement, fractures, spine, prevention, advanced diagnostics, progressive treatments, minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, and more. Visit wakemed.org/wakeortho and get back your life.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. A lot of people have work to do on their homes. They need a roof. They want windows, siding. You guys do everything. But people are also, I'm not sure I can afford it. The Aluminum Company is a great place to go. Tell us why.
Well, tons of times I'll go out to people's houses and they're thinking about doing a bunch of home improvements at once. Siding, roofing, windows are a big package, right? And the first thing they think of is, well, I'm going to need to go get an equity line or a second mortgage. One of the things we have is tons of financing options where you don't even need to go to your bank. We can do that in-house for you and run payment options for you. And lots of times the financing that we offer is a better percentage rating than you can get from your bank, and you don't have to go through all that mess to get to it.
I like that. Also, is there 12 months, 0 interest?
12 months, 0 interest, 0 payments for 12 months.
0 payments and 0 interest at the same time for 12 months.
That is correct.
That is a double header right there. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online, aluminumcompany.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have Malik in Raleigh on the line and Zach in Raleigh on the line. They'll be battling it out in the numbers game for a chance at a $50 gift card to Apex Racing Lab. As always, I will ask the same question to both contestants, and they will have a chance. They'll both answer, and then Max, our judge for the day, the producer, will pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first, and then they'll both play the numbers game. We'll go from there. Malik and Raleigh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. The question for today is, the breaking news is that the Lakers were just sold. $10 billion valuation. Jerry Buss's family is selling the Lakers. So my question to you is, if money was no object, right? You I don't know, you invested $100,000 in your buddy's business and it just sold for $1 trillion. So you have all the money in the world. What sports franchise would you buy?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I mean, probably the Panthers, because Gettleman needs to get out of there. Whoever the owner is now.
Tepper is the owner. Gettleman's the old GM, but I think Panther
Tepper.
fans, it's all just one blur of like sketchy decisions there for about 5 or 6 years. All right, so Malik would buy the Panthers. We'll go to Zach and Raleigh next. Zach, can you hear me? Zach, are you there?
It appears Zach has dropped.
Zach dropped. You know what that means, everybody. Call in now, 919-860-5326. Zach, if it's you can call right back in quickly. Maybe you'll get back in, but no guarantees. 919-860-5326. Call back in right now. Anyone. Lines are open, right? If you drop, you gotta blame your connection carrier. 919-860-5326. Somebody has to play Malik. And it could be Zach, could be anyone else. We have a $50 gift card going to the winner, so there we go. Phone is picked up, and we'll see who it is. Max is going through the I don't know if we call it a vetting process. Justin in Raleigh is up next. Justin in Raleigh taking Zach and Raleigh's spot. Justin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, straight into the fire. Here's the question. The Lakers were just sold, $10 billion evaluation. You've hit the lotto 10 straight times because that's about how much it would cost. You've hit the lotto 20 straight times, so money is no option. Which sports team are you buying?
This is going to be a little weird, but I would buy the entire Live Golf and immediately fold it.
Okay, to bring all
for the sport.
All right. I like the creativity of it. For a while they were selling like individual teams. It got really weird. But if you unite the tour, the golf nerd in me would be very happy with that. Right now, actually, Max, I don't know if people know this, right? If you watch on YouTube, you might. Max wears like golf hats and golf gear darn near every single day. He had a Shrixon hat on yesterday. So, Max, I assume I know where you're going, but you might be a big buy an NFL team fan as well. So is it Malik buying the Panthers or Justin buying all of Live Golf just to shut it down and send everybody back to the PGA?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna have to side with Justin here. I've never been the biggest fan of Live Golf. I want all the golfer. I love watching like the week-to-week PGA events, and just having more of those guys back would be awesome. And I respect Malik's answer, trying to buy the Panthers and get the ship righted, but they're kind of on the right track now. And plus, he threw a stray at Gettleman. He wasn't a bad owner; he was a bad GM. So
all right. Yeah, I mean, the golf one was a good one. I like creative outside-the-box thinking. So Justin gets to go first. Malik, don't worry. You'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold there for a second. Justin, are you ready to pick a category?
Yeah.
All right, the categories are NFL players with mid-June birthdays, NFL players that were on the podium for Rookie of the Year but did not win Rookie of the Year. So they were somewhere in the top 10 in vote getters for Rookie of the Year but didn't win it. NBA players that have multiple triple-doubles and are still active NBA players, or NHL Hurricanes only.
I'll do the NBA players triple-double.
All right, these are all players with multiple triple-doubles in their career, and they are all active players. That's the category. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, I'm ready.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Paul George, Philadelphia 76ers.
13.
Incorrect. Draymond Green, Golden State Warriors.
23.
Correct. Bradley Beal, Phoenix Suns.
3.
Correct. Al Horford, Boston Celtics.
12.
Incorrect. Paul George, Philadelphia 76ers.
3.
Say it again.
3.
Incorrect. Al Horford, Boston Celtics.
42.
Correct. Nikola Vucevic, Chicago Bulls.
30.
Your connection, it broke up a little bit there, so we would have been a little bit faster on one of those. But you did get Draymond Green 23. You did get Bradley Beal with 3, and you did get Horford with 42. So you got 3 of them. The numbers we were looking for elsewhere, Paul George, I believe he's worn 13 most places, but with the Sixers he wears 8. As a Sixers fan, I can completely understand why you would know that. He didn't play many games for the Sixers. Hurt all the darn time. Nikola Vucevic, you didn't really get a chance to answer, but we were looking for 9 there for those of you playing at home. 3 is the number to beat. Solid number. As a golf fan, I'll say you're the leader in the clubhouse, and we will look towards Malik and Raleigh. But stay on the line, Justin. We'll see if it holds up. Malik and Raleigh, are you there?
Yes.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players that were born in the middle of June, NFL players that finished in the top 10 of Rookie of the Year voting but did not win Rookie of the Year, or NHL players, Hurricanes only?
I guess I'll try the Hurricanes only.
Okay. I have to admit, not a lot of confidence from the way you chose that category, but I hope you surprise even yourself. I will give you the team and the player. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it's the Canes, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other contestant. There will be 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. You need at least 4 for the win, and your time will start when you hear the horn. Logan Stankoven, Carolina Hurricanes.
77.
Incorrect. Jacob Slavin, Carolina Hurricanes.
74.
Correct. Teuvo Teravainen, Carolina Hurricanes.
13.
Incorrect. Logan Stankoven, Carolina Hurricanes.
22.
Correct. Brian Allen, Carolina Hurricanes.
I have no skip.
Alexei Ponikarovsky, Carolina Hurricanes.
42. I have no clue.
Incorrect. Brian Allen. I'm sorry for giggling there. Just your commentary made me laugh. What'd you end up with? 2? You got 2. That's solid for somebody that went in with that kind of maybe trepidation. You got Stanky at 22. Slavin with 74 is a good one. Teuvo Teravainen wears number 86 or wore number 86. Still a lot of his jerseys kicking around. Brian Allen, 5, and Ponikarovsky ended with 23 was the number we were looking for. Unfortunately, 2 is not enough for the win, but hopefully you had some fun, Malik.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
All right. Good luck buying the Panthers. And that means Justin in Raleigh is the winner. Justin, congratulations. You get the $50 gift card to Apex Racing Lab. Congrats.
Thank you. And I want to just shout out the guy whose call dropped earlier. I really appreciate him.
Zach, wherever you are, you got a nice little hat tip from Justin for the win. So, Justin, congrats again. Stay in the line. Max will grab some info to make sure you get your gift card.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
You're very welcome. It does seem like we've had maybe it's weather in the area. I don't know. We've had a lot of calls drop recently, and whoever's been thrown into the fire has done well. Might say something about like not overthinking it, right? Just get in and go. I used to say that because obviously I played college football and I was starting quarterback for a while, but I was also the backup quarterback for most of my career, as so many of us have. And sometimes it's easier to just be thrown in, right? Like you're watching, you got the baseball hat on, starter goes down, he's a little hurt. All right, give me the helmet. Boom, you go out there and you're not thinking and you just play. Sometimes it's easier to play well in that situation than when you find out on like Tuesday that you're getting the start as a backup quarterback and you have all that time to think about it. So they're just kind of tossed in there and Justin found a way to win. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, there are just 36 days until training camp for the Carolina Panthers, who maybe our caller there ends up the owner, maybe not. If it's David Tepper, either way, 36 days until training camp opens for the Carolina Panthers. We have our question of the day for the Panthers coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Something you always have to make sure you are ready to do before you get on a motorcycle is, are you physically able to handle the motorcycle? I've been dealing with a little bit of a back injury that I suffered playing hockey, and guess what? Getting on a motorcycle and try to handle a bike isn't the smartest thing to do right now. That's why I got to make sure that I am fit and ready to go before I get on a motorcycle to make sure that I am safe when I'm out there on the road. But if I am injured in a motorcycle accident, this is where Law Tigers comes in. Give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, even before you contact the insurance company. Law Tigers, they're there for you because they are part of the motorcycle riding community. They know what your bike and your gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and they don't get paid a dime until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Hey, it's Victoria with 99.9 The Fan with the Men's Health Month tip from WakeMed Heart and Vascular. Each year, smoking causes more than 480,000 deaths in the United States. That's nearly 1 in 5 deaths. Those aren't odds you want to play with. Don't put off kicking the habit. In just 1 year after quitting, a person's risk for coronary heart disease decreases by half. Learn more about how you can quit and get started today, plus other ways to care for your heart at wakemed.org.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Hey everybody, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props for the NBA Finals. And now you can make the smarter play with new performance trends. You want to check a player's consistency during the playoffs? Maybe they've been flirting with a potential triple-double. Get the latest stats right inside the app and see who's heating up. And after tip-off, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. If you don't already have FanDuel, it's not too late to get in on the action. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So visit FanDuel.com/Paul, P-A-U-L, and join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. All right, so there's some news coming out of the NHL. And we will get to our Panthers conversation, Carolina Panthers, 36 days until training camp. Andy Strickland from the Cam and Strick podcast does some work for the St. Louis Blues, FanDuel Sports Network, a whole bunch of stuff. He's reporting that Trent Frederick and Edmonton are closing in on an extension, which he believes to be in a 8-year deal around $4 million per. Which Trent Frederick, I mean, he's not the biggest domino to fall. Staying home makes sense for him, but free agent centers, right? There's not a ton of them. Free agent center, that's another one that looks like he will not be available. And I don't know if Canes fans even want to know about this guy, but Eric Holla was traded.
Really?
Yes. The New Jersey Devils tweeting out, let me make sure this is all legit. They've acquired Nashville's own 4th-round pick in the 2025 NHL draft and defenseman Jeremy Hansel in exchange for forward Eric Holla. That came out about 29 minutes ago. So, Nashville, another former Cane. That's again, I don't know if people even want to be updated on Holla other than like now you know where to boo. So there you go. That's some news coming out of the NHL. Definitely not the biggest dominoes to fall, but dominoes nonetheless. With that being said, 36 days until training camp for the Carolina Panthers. The question for the day is, and we're asking one question leading into every show, leading into training camp, which is, as I said, 36 days away. The question for today is the Hunter Renfroe hype for real? Because part of me when I hear a situation like this, the Hunter Renfrow is signed for next to $0, and he plays well at OTAs and minicamp, and everybody gets really excited. And I go like, well, wait a second. He didn't even play last year. Are we excited just because you hadn't seen him in a while? Or is it legit? Because at this point in the calendar year, every NFL team is just looking for things to get excited about, right? If you're first-round pick, I mean, he doesn't even have to make a good play. One of my favorite things is when the social media teams start putting out like receivers catching 5-yard hitches and they put it in slow motion and they're like, so-and-so showed out today. And I'm like, really? Did he show out or did he run a 5-yard hitch that a JV high schooler could catch 100% of the time? But they're just looking for something to be excited about. So is the Hunter Renfrow hype for real? Yeah. Is it like, as long as you have reasonable expectations for him. I don't think he's going to be a Pro Bowler, but if you have reasonable hype that Hunter Renfrow can actually help your team and that they found a diamond, like a former diamond that got in the rough that you might be able to take out again, like that is real. Hunter Renfrow, his game should age well. He never was a guy that was out athleticing players, right? It's not like he was out there running a straightaway 40-yard dash to beat guys to get open. He was always about wit and guile, and he was always about routing guys up, and he caught 100 balls in a game or in a season for the Raiders. And in a weird way, this is going to sound, I don't even know how to word it, but hopefully you'll listen to the full explanation before you judge me. In a weird way, the sickness is weirdly comforting. Right? So what ended up happening was, what was it? Back in 2021, he had his Pro Bowl year. It was great. 100 catches, 1,000 yards, all those things. In the NFL, he did that. And then his play started dipping. Okay? And if you listen to him tell it, he couldn't really understand it, right? He didn't feel the same. He was getting tired. He was getting weak. And he even though he played more NFL football, he wasn't the same player. And it turns out he has since been diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which kind of built to a crescendo of he had a week where he had a fever every day. He was over 100 degrees every day, and he dropped from his playing weight of like 185, 187 down to 150. And that's what led to the diagnosis, and now he's managing it well, and he figured it all out. And the reason why I say that's weirdly comforting is you can point to his dip in play, and it's not like, oh, did he get worse? You have a legit reason to point to and go, no, he didn't get – it's not like he's bad. He was sick. There's a difference, right? It happens in the NHL all the time, if we're being real, where a guy has like an awful postseason run or he doesn't look like himself in the postseason, and then as soon as they're eliminated, it's like, yeah, well, I had 6 fractures in my hip and my left hand was numb the whole time due to a nerve injury, and I just played through it. And it's like, oh, you're not bad. You were hurt. Or actually, my mom will hate me telling this story. And this goes back to 7th grade, but it's a story that we tell in my family all the time because it's funny. So my high school, my middle school, high school, elementary school when I was in Hawaii were all combined. It was K through 12. So 7th, 8th, and 9th grade were on one, like your freshman football team had 7th, 8th, and 9th graders on it. So as a 7th grader, I was a backup quarterback on the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade team. And there was one team a year that we blew out every year, and that's when the 7th graders got to play. We were up by a bunch. I go in, gung-ho, right? The only game I'm going to get to play all year. First play, I try to run it, and I get leveled, and I break my collarbone. Just throwing collarbone, just a little snap real quick. But this is the only game I'm going to play all year. And I'm hockey tough. At least I think I am in 7th grade. I'm not coming out. So coach calls me over, and he goes, all right, what play do you want to run? He's basically let me call my own plays. And I go, 4 verts. He's like, all right, make it happen. Run out there, 4 verts. Try to throw the ball down the field with a broken collarbone. Not the best thing you can do. Come to the sideline. He's like, what the heck was that? I'm sorry, slipped on me. All right, what play do you want to run? 4 verts. Really? All right, go on out there. Basically, we do that 3 times, and then for the rest of the game, coach is like, you're not throwing the ball anymore. I don't know what the heck's up with you. So we go, after the game, I'm like, ow, my collarbone hurts. We end up going to the hospital. It's broken. And the legend is, and I won't use the exact words, my mom, when she found out that my collarbone is broken, was like, oh, thank goodness. I thought you just couldn't throw. I thought I knew you could throw better than that, but I don't know what the heck that was. Like, now that you're hurt, it kind of makes sense, right? Oh, you had a broken collarbone. And it's a funny story to tell. It didn't go exactly like that, but that's the way we tell it. Same is kind of true with Hunter Renfrow. He was a Pro Bowler, and then his play went way down. Now we find out he was dealing with undiagnosed ulcerative colitis. It's like, oh, thank goodness. I thought you just got worse. Turns out there's something to point to. Now it makes sense, right? A similar thing, J.J. Spawn, who just won the U.S. Open a couple years ago or a handful of years ago, his play dipped a ton. Then he got diagnosed as diabetic, started managing it better. Oh, look, now he's a top 20 golfer on the PGA Tour, and he's winning the U.S. Open. If that can happen for Renfrow, where the diagnosis ends up unlocking the player that he was previously, that's something to get excited about. And even if it's not the player he was during his peak, if he's just 80% of that, it is super valuable to have a player that can get open quickly near the line of scrimmage, particularly if your offensive line isn't pass blocking at an elite level, which I know everybody loves the Carolina Panthers offensive line. I do as well. But if you look at how they played last year, they were much better run blockers than they were pass blockers, right? So when you look at Pro Football Focus grades and everything that put the Panthers near the top of the league or in the top 10 in the league with offensive line play and offensive line grades, that is very much buoyed by being a dominant run blocking offensive line and a mediocre to below average pass blocking unit, but you average that out and it's pretty good. If your pass blocking unit isn't great, you need guys that can get open quickly, which, I'd love for Bryce Young to always have enough time to take a 7-step drop, hitch 3 times, and find Teteroa McMillan on a deep ball, or find Xavier Legette running by guys with his 4.39 speed. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of times he's going to need to get the ball out of his hands quickly to preserve his health. So if you have guys going deep and you have Hunter Renfrow running like a snag or an over, an option route over the middle, that gives him another option. That's where I think Adam Thielen can play a role. That's where I think guys out of the backfield can play a role catching passes. And then the other thing is this. Anything you get from Renfrow is awesome because he costs nothing, right? Because you snagged him after a year not playing in the NFL and a couple years of very underwhelming play before that, his contract is like scraps by NFL terms. I think it's a little over $1 million. So it's not scraps to us again, but it's scraps by NFL terms, and none of it's guaranteed. If at any point in time you're like, oh, this is awesome, Jimmy Horn can do that. He can fill that role and be a returner. Cool. You can cut Hunter Renfrow for free, for nothing. You owe him no dead money, and the win-win would be if he's shown enough with the Panthers to go catch on somewhere else.
Yeah, anything he adds, it's like found money. It's like the $20 bill that you forgot was in your pants pocket.
100%, and it's like, this isn't in our budget, so it's just you can do whatever you want with it. So the hype, it is real for Hunter Renfrow as long as you have the realistic hype. Right, if you're thinking, oh, he's going to be a 1,500-yard wide receiver and he's going to be the number one, then no, your hype is getting carried away. Right, that's a couple highlights in minicamp that made you think he's, the next coming of Wes Welker. And that's a lazy analogy, but it is what it is. Like, he's not going to be 110 catches this year. If he's 50 well-timed catches, if he's 40, but they're all on third down and they all convert first downs, you're darn right that is going to be there. And even if it's even less impactful than that, if he's 20 catches, but super productive and as far as passing along wisdom to all of these young wide receivers, if he and Adam Thielen are like the wizened elders of the wide receiver room, passing along info to these young whippersnappers, value is worth it there. Again, he costs almost nothing. So I'm excited for Hunter Renfrow to be on the Panthers, if for no other reason than he is dirt cheap and he might be good. Hype is real, as long as the hype doesn't mean like number one wide receiver. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close here. Max, do we have Overdrive coming up?
Yes, we do. We will be talking Logan Stankoven extension talk and the Panthers and the NFL all-quarter century team.
There it is. So a couple of cool conversations coming your way on Overdrive right after this here on 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Maybe we'll have Dennis if he's feeling good. If not, who knows? Maybe Max will be back with us. But we'll be back for the drive at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Overdrive coming up next. Please subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Go there, check out the live streams, check out the videos, comment, like, all those things. We'd greatly appreciate it. And I think that's it. So other than that, just enjoy your night, and we'll see you tomorrow. See ya.
The Adam Gold Show.
Minicamp is great. I love the optimism around the wide receiver position. It all comes back to Bryce Young, though, doesn't it? Look, he was so good at the end of the year last year, but I just don't know what level of importance, what value to place on game